Professor G. Mary, ma'am, please start, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Namaskar, Adab, good afternoon, everyone. I cordially welcome you all to the two-day international conference on multidisciplinary research in Women Empowerment 2026. 19 and 20, venue is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University, Jubilee Hills, Hyderabad. Today is the second day and we are now gearing up to conduct the two-day international conference. Okay, so my job is to now invite the resource persons scheduled for this session. And women empowerment, yesterday we had a lengthy discussions from different walks of people from various faculties and from different countries. They expressed their views, opinion, statistics, and recommendations for continuous women empowerment process. Women empowerment process should be a continuous process. It should be a collective process also. It is not a single output work, but it is multidisciplinary work, multidisciplinary aspect. Okay, so if you compare, this is what I said in a gist I will give you. The venue is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. SSMWA is the organization we have collaborated, and we are working on this in this form of two-day international conference on multidisciplinary research. Okay, I am from Department of Education, convener of this two-day international conference on multidisciplinary research in Women Empowerment 2026. I am head of the department and education. I come from education, BEd, MEd. Okay, so now without wasting much time, it is my proud privilege to invite Dr. Preeti Shukla, Professor of Education, Dr. Radhakrishna College of Education, SSMWA. Ma'am, your voice.
Hello.
Now I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
नमस्कार मैम।
हाँ, नमस्कार प्रीति जी।
मैम आपको मेरी आवाज
आ रही है? आपकी आवाज आ रही है?
ओके मैम।
Actually, madam has opened two microphones. One very close.
आप चेक करिए।
I live in, हाँ जी, हाँ।
आप चेक करिए मैडम।
हाँ जी।
आपके पास एक फोन अभी ऑन में है। You disconnect that and you connect with one this device.
Okay.
Dr. Shukla ji, Professor of Education, Dr. Radhakrishna College of Education. I think she's from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, member of SSMWA. We are very much welcome. We are welcome, madam, and we are ready to hear from you on the women empowerment on any chosen aspect. You are welcome, ma'am. This is your time. You can start.
Okay, ma'am. नमस्कार मैम।
नमस्कार।
नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर प्रीति शुक्ला, प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर राधाकृष्णन कॉलेज ऑफ एजुकेशन जबलपुर से 2 days इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑन मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च इन वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट 2026 में आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ। महिला सशक्तिकरण में केवल कोमलता नहीं, मैं अटूट साहस की धारा हूँ, संघर्षों की धूप में खिलती आशा की उजली क्यारी हूँ। मैं माँ बनकर ममता बरसाऊं, बेटी बनकर गौरव लाऊं, हर मुश्किल की आंधी में भी अपने सपनों का दीप जलाऊं। मेरी आंखों में स्वप्न बसे हैं, मेरे मन में उजियारा है, मेरे सम्मान से ही जग में जीवन कितना प्यारा है। मैं सृजन की पहली धड़कन, जीवन का मधुर आधार हूँ, मेरे कदमों की आहट से हर आंगन का त्योहार हूँ। आज यही संकल्प है मेरा, अपने मान को बढ़ाऊंगी, अपने अधिकारों की ज्योति से नया सवेरा लाऊंगी। मैं सशक्त नारी हूँ, यही मेरा गर्व और यही मेरी पहचान है। वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट 2026 2 days इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस के सेकेंड डेज में सेक्रेटरी ऑफ कॉन्फ्रेंस, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट SSMWA वुमेन सेल डॉक्टर श्रीदेवी, चीफ गेस्ट स्पीकर्स, होस्ट स्टूडेंट्स, प्रोफेसर्स डॉक्टर ब्रजेश सर, होस्ट एंड एक्सपर्ट डॉक्टर खुशबू एवं डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एजुकेशन डॉक्टर BR अम्बेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी हैदराबाद के प्रोफेसर्स, स्टूडेंट्स, रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स, डायरेक्ट एवं इनडायरेक्ट रूप से कॉन्फ्रेंस में जुड़े सभी को मेरा नमस्कार है। नारी एक रूप अनेक, जीवन उसकी बहती धारा, समाज के हर क्षेत्र में करती सदा वह उजियारा। ज्ञान का भंडार है नारी, एजुकेशन में सबसे आगे है नारी। दुर्गा की शक्ति लिए सब विघ्नों को पार करती नारी। महाकाल की पार्वती है, कान्हा की वो राधा है, जिसने लिखी सत्यवान की सावित्री बन, जिसने लिखी एक गाथा है, ममत्व का मान है। अन्नपूर्णा गॉडेस ऑफ फूड का सम्मान है, देश की सरहदों की रक्षा करती हुई तीर कमान है। सावित्री बाई फुले बनकर एजुकेशन ज्ञान का भंडार दिया, आनंदीबाई जोशी बनकर डॉक्टर चिकित्सक होने का मान दिया। माँ बेटी बहू ही समाज का अभिमान है, नारी श्री नारायणी है, आज विश्व में ज्ञान है। हम सभी यहाँ वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट 2026 की कॉन्फ्रेंस में इकट्ठे हुए हैं। महिला सशक्तिकरण के लिए स्वास्थ्य और शिक्षा 2 महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ है, पिलर हैं, जो महिलाओं को अपने जीवन, अधिकारों, निर्णय लेने की प्रक्रिया आत्मनिर्भर बनाते हैं। शिक्षा आत्मविश्वास, कॉन्फिडेंस लाती है, अवेयरनेस लाती है, जबकि स्वास्थ्य संबंधी जानकारी, फूड एंड न्यूट्रिशन उन्हें बेहतर जीवन जीने के लिए सशक्त बनाती हैं। महिला सशक्तिकरण स्वास्थ्य और शिक्षा के प्रमुख बिंदु। एक स्वस्थ महिला ही स्वस्थ एवं समृद्ध समाज का निर्माण करती है तथा सभी महिलाओं का जीवन सुखमय तभी हो सकता है जब महिलाएं पूर्णतया रोग मुक्त, चिंता, तनाव, डिप्रेशन से मुक्त होकर सभी क्षेत्रों में अपना उत्कृष्ट प्रदर्शन देंगी। महिला सशक्तिकरण स्वास्थ्य एवं शिक्षा के प्रमुख बिंदु। महिला सशक्तिकरण का आशय होता है, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट का आशय है महिलाओं का संपूर्ण रूप से सशक्त बनाना, अर्थात महिलाओं को शारीरिक, मानसिक, सामाजिक, राजनीतिक, आर्थिक एवं सभी प्रकार के प्रगति में वृद्धि करना। स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा महिला सशक्तिकरण की नींव है, क्योंकि महान दार्शनिक अरस्तु ने भी कहा हुआ है कि स्वस्थ शरीर में ही स्वस्थ मस्तिष्क का वास होता है। महिला सशक्तिकरण स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा में शिक्षा की भूमिका। शिक्षा न केवल साक्षरता प्रदान करती है, बल्कि महिलाओं में आत्मविश्वास का संचार करती है और उन्हें घर से बाहर के जीवन व अधिकारों के प्रति जागरूक बनाती है। शिक्षित महिलाएं अपने परिवार के स्वास्थ्य और बच्चों की शिक्षा के लिए बेहतर निर्णय ले सकती हैं, सही डिसीजन ले सकती हैं। स्वास्थ्य एवं पोषण, न्यूट्रिशंस वैल्यू एंड हेल्थ से रिलेटेड महिलाओं का स्वास्थ्य, मातृ एवं शिशु स्वास्थ्य सीधे तौर पर वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट से जुड़ा है, जिसके लिए स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा, पोषण और स्वच्छता आवश्यक होते हैं। 2026 में महिला सशक्तिकरण का मुख्य फोकस महिला नेतृत्व वाला विकास, वुमन लीड डेवलपमेंट, नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम का प्रभावी कार्यान्वयन और आर्थिक आत्मनिर्भरता है। 8 मार्च 2026 की थीम न्याय और समानता सुनिश्चित करने के लिए वास्तविक कार्यवाही पर केंद्रित रही है, जिसमें लखपति दीदी योजना और 41/7 श्रम भागीदारी का मुख्य लक्ष्य है। 2026 में महिला सशक्तिकरण के प्रमुख पॉइंट्स इस प्रकार है। राजनीतिक सशक्तिकरण, पॉलिटिकल एम्पावरमेंट, नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम के तहत महिलाओं को निर्णायक भूमिकाओं में लाने के लिए कानूनी कदम उठाए जा रहे हैं। अंतरराष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस 2026, IWD 2026 संयुक्त राष्ट्र और भारत में अधिकार और न्याय के साथ साथ हर महिला बालिका के सशक्तिकरण के लिए वास्तविक कार्यवाही पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। आर्थिक आत्मनिर्भरता, महिला केंद्रित योजनाओं के लिए समय समय पर बजट दिया जाता है, जिसमें 2026 में 28,183 करोड़ का लक्ष्य रखा गया है। अंतरराष्ट्रीय महिला दिवस 2026 संयुक्त राष्ट्र और भारत में अधिकार और न्याय के साथ हर महिला बालिका के सशक्तिकरण के लिए वास्तविक कार्यवाही पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। आर्थिक आत्मनिर्भरता पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। शिक्षा एवं सुरक्षा, निराश्रित महिला पेंशन योजना 3,500 करोड़ रुपए, मुख्यमंत्री कन्या सुमंगल योजना 400 करोड़ और कामकाजी महिलाओं के लिए छात्रावास लगभग 100 करोड़ का प्रस्ताव है। स्वास्थ्य और कल्याण, जल जीवन मिशन 81% से अधिक ग्रामीण घरों में पानी और स्वच्छता मिशन ने महिलाओं के जीवन स्तर को सुधारा है। नारी शक्ति वंदन रन 17-18 अप्रैल 2026 को महिला के सशक्तिकरण और जन भागीदारी को बढ़ावा देने के लिए कई शहरों में विशेष दौड़ का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। सुरक्षा तंत्र प्रोवाइड किए जा रहे हैं। महिला सशक्तिकरण और स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा का संबंध में विभिन्न चुनौतियां हैं, जैसे कि सामाजिक और आर्थिक बाधाएं आती हैं। समाज में अनेक महिलाओं को विभिन्न प्रकार की कुरीतियों एवं समाज समस्याओं का सामना करना पड़ता है, जिसके कारण अगर वो एजुकेटेड ना होंगे तो अपनी बातों को सभी के सामने नहीं रख पाती हैं। शिक्षा तथा वित्त का अभाव, आज भी अधिकांश महिलाओं को स्वास्थ्य संबंधी सक्रियता और जागरूकता अवेयरनेस की कमी देखी गई है, जिसका प्रमुख कारण उनका अशिक्षित होना है तथा अभी भी गांव-गांव में एजुकेशन पूरी तरह से फैला हुआ नहीं है। किसी भी समस्या के हल के लिए वित्तीय साधनों और वित्त फाइनेंस का होना, बजट का होना अति आवश्यक है। धन के अभाव में किसी भी कार्य को शुरू करना कठिन हो जाता है। गरीबी और वित्तीय कठिनाइयां लड़कियों की शिक्षा और स्वास्थ्य पर नकारात्मक प्रभाव डालती हैं। महिलाओं में जागरूकता और समझ की कमी होती है। महिलाओं को अपने स्वास्थ्य के प्रति परवाह नहीं रखती हैं। स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में एक चुनौती के रूप में डालती है। अधिकांश महिलाएं जो भी गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा निःशुल्क चिकित्सीय सेवाओं को प्रदान किया जाता है, उनका ज्ञान नहीं होता है। महिलाओं में कुपोषण की समस्याएं होती हैं। नकारात्मक मानसिक स्वास्थ्य, महिलाएं स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा के प्रति कम साक्षर होने के कारण अक्सर अपने शारीरिक एवं मानसिक स्वास्थ्य समस्याओं को ना ही ठीक से समझ पाती हैं, ना ही उनके प्रति जागरूक और कार्यशील रह पाती हैं। समाज में, हमारे इंडिया में आज भी लिंग संबंधी भेदभाव है। किसी भी समाज में लिंग भेदभाव महिलाओं के मानसिक स्वास्थ्य पर अत्यंत ही गहरा और बुरा प्रभाव डालता है, जिसके कारण महिलाएं अनेक प्रकार की हिंसा, मानसिक पीड़ा, अवसाद, चिंतन से घिर जाती हैं। चिकित्सीय सुविधाओं की अभाव, अधिकांश क्षेत्रों में आज भी स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा की कमी, चिकित्सीय स्टाफ की कमी, प्रशिक्षित कर्मियों की अनुपलब्धता होती है। ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में महिलाओं की पहुंच में कमी, अधिकतर समाज में ये देखा गया है कि निम्न आर्थिक, लोअर फाइनेंशियली और सामाजिक वर्ग की महिलाएं तथा ग्रामीण महिलाओं का स्वास्थ्य सुविधाओं उन तक पहुंचना दुष्कर कार्य होता है तथा इन महिलाओं से संबंधित विभिन्न रोगों का समय समय पर निदान व उपचार न होने के कारण उन्हें कई बार इन कठिनाइयों का सामना करना पड़ता है। चुनौतियों का समाधान, ये जो सारी चुनौतियां हैं उनका समाधान करने के लिए हमें स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं तक को महिलाओं तक पहुंचाना चाहिए। अधिकांश महिलाओं की स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं पहुंचाने के लिए, जिसका एक उदाहरण है कि WHO की एक रिपोर्ट के अनुसार विश्व की 50% से अधिक महिलाएं एनीमिया का शिकार है। भारत में ही यह प्रतिशत और अधिक है। प्रौद्योगिकी का उपयोग विभिन्न प्रकार की तकनीकी जैसे रेडियो, दूरदर्शन, टीवी, सोशल नेटवर्क आदि तथा विभिन्न चिकित्सकीय सुविधाएं जैसे एक्सरे, MRI, सिटी स्कैन, अल्ट्रासाउंड, पैथोलॉजी, लैब टेस्ट, रोबोट सर्जरी, टेलीमेडिसिन, AI आदि का उपयोग करके स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं का लाभ महिलाओं तक पहुंचाने के साथ साथ महिलाओं को सशक्त करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी को सुनिश्चित प्रयोग किया जाना चाहिए। व्यापक जन जागरूकता प्रोग्राम, महिला स्वास्थ्य एवं सशक्तिकरण के लिए विभिन्न प्रकार के जन जागरूकता प्रोग्रामों का संचालन एवं प्रचार प्रसार करना चाहिए, जिससे महिला का पहला सुख, निरोगी काया, स्वस्थ माँ, सुखी परिवार जैसे जन जागरूकता के संदेश महिलाओं तक पहुंचने चाहिए, जिससे सभी महिलाएं अपने परिवार और समाज को स्वस्थ बना लें। सरकारी नीतियों का प्रचार प्रसार व सुधार, महिला स्वास्थ्य एवं सशक्तिकरण से संबंधित विभिन्न सरकारी नीतियों का महिलाओं तक पहुंच होना चाहिए, जैसे जननी सुरक्षा योजना, प्रधानमंत्री सुरक्षित योजना, मातृत्व अभियान, प्रधानमंत्री स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा योजना, पोषण अभियान कार्यक्रम, प्रधानमंत्री मातृ वंदन योजना, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ योजना, उज्ज्वला योजना, सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना, सुधार गृह योजना आदि। साथ ही साथ इन सरकारी योजनाओं का जमीनी स्तर पर भी इसके सही स्वरूप एवं क्रियान्वित किया जाना चाहिए। लिंग आधारित असमानताओं को खत्म करना चाहिए। स्वास्थ्य संबंधी सेवा प्रणाली में सुधार के प्रयास करना चाहिए। ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं पर विशेष ध्यान देना चाहिए। ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में महिलाओं को स्वास्थ्य संबंधी दिक्कतों का सामना अत्यधिक करना पड़ता है तथा विभिन्न प्रकार के कुपोषण से भी वे ग्रसित होती हैं। उन्हें समय समय पर आंगनवाड़ी सुविधाएं वगैरह सभी जगह उपलब्ध होनी चाहिए। पुनरुत्पादक स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा का प्रचार एवं प्रसार, पुनरुत्पादक स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा जैसे जन जागरूकता बढ़ाने के लिए एजुकेशन, कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी का उचित उपयोग, समुदाय की संपूर्ण भागीदारी, प्रजनन एवं यौन शिक्षा के प्रति गलत धारणाओं को दूर करना आदि अनेक ऐसे कार्यक्रम हैं जिससे के माध्यम से महिलाओं को शिक्षित कर उनके स्वास्थ्य को सुधारा जा सकता है। महिला सशक्तिकरण में स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा की भूमिका को किसी भी प्रकार से नकारा नहीं जा सकता है। महिलाओं को विभिन्न प्रकार की शैक्षिक एवं स्वास्थ्य सेवाओं के लाभ के साथ साथ शिशु मृत्यु दर तथा मातृ मृत्यु दर में गिरावट आई है और महिलाएं पहले से अधिक जागरूक होकर स्वास्थ्य से संबंधित सामुदायिक कार्यक्रमों में भाग ले रही हैं। केंद्र सरकार तथा राज्य सरकार से संबंधित विभिन्न योजनाएं व नीतियां भी महिला सशक्तिकरण तथा स्वास्थ्य सुरक्षा में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका अदा कर रही हैं। स्वास्थ्य शिक्षा के कारण ही आज सकारात्मक पॉजिटिव मेंटल वाली महिलाएं जीवन के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में प्रतिनिधित्व कर रही हैं और उनके जीवन स्तर, रहन सहन में भी बदलाव आया है। साथ ही पारिवारिक सामाजिक दायित्वों के प्रति उनके नजरिए में भी परिवर्तन हुआ है। उन क्षेत्रों में जिन क्षेत्रों में पहले कभी पुरुषों का आधिपत्य रहा है, महिलाएं भी अपना वर्चस्व स्थापित कर रही हैं। साथ ही साथ कई क्षेत्रों में खुद पुरुष से बेहतर साबित भी हो रही हैं। प्रत्येक क्षेत्र में महिलाएं अनवरत प्रयास करके अपने समाज एवं राष्ट्र के उत्थान में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका अदा कर रही हैं। थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू आप सभी का, आप सबने सुना। अब धन्यवाद आप सभी का, आप सभी को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मैरी मैम प्लीज अनम्यूट में।
थैंक यू वेरी मच मैडम, आप हमसे जुड़ गए और आपकी क्या वाणी सुनने को मौका मिला है।
ओके मैम, मैं क्योंकि भारतीय हूँ और मैंने हिंदी में बोला, हो सकता है आपको पूरा तरह वो समझ में आया भी ना हो।
हाँ, नहीं समझ में आया, लेकिन क्या है महिला सशक्तिकरण, स्वास्थ्य,
हाँ जी मैम,
सुरक्षा, निर्णय लेना, कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ाना, अवेयरनेस, जस्टिस एंड इक्वालिटी। लेडीज हैव सम बैरियर्स, कुछ दिक्कत है ना वुमेन को, वो क्या है कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन, फाइनेंशियल, ओके, जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी, ये पूरे चीज आपने बताई। एक अच्छी चीज क्या है बोले तो आजकल इलिटरेट्स जो हर जगह पे अपन थोड़ी मात्रा में देखते हैं वुमेन, वो लोगों को ये जानकारी होना चाहिए कि क्या AI, if you go to a hospital and connect with AI, their I mean like difficulties or what you call deficiencies will be revealed, एक में मालूम हो जाता चाहिए। इसीलिए वो उनके कदमों तक लेके जाना चाहिए। बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, एजुकेशन एंड टेक्नोलॉजी बहुत अच्छा आपने पढ़ाया और बहुत अच्छा आपने संभाषण किया। इट इज़ वेरी नाइस। आप हमसे जुड़े। मेरे तरफ से ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एजुकेशन डॉक्टर BR Ambedkar Open University and on behalf of ISSMWA, I thank Dr. Preeti Shukla ma'am, Professor of Education, Dr. Radhakrishnan College of Education, and also member SSMWA. Thank you ma'am. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू ब्रजेश सर, आपने मुझे इससे ज्वाइन किया और इतने सारे लोगों का मुझे सुनने को मिल रहा है, समझने का मिल रहा है। धन्यवाद सभी का, आप सभी का।
Thank you ma'am once again. Now it is my proud privilege to invite Professor Dr. Mehreen Mia Haq. She is a global educationalist, empowerment specialist, South Africa, advisory board member, SSMWA. Ma'am, are you here?
मैम अभी जुड़ नहीं पाए, कुछ टेक्निकल इशू। जो डॉक्टर ज्योति साइनी मैम इज ऑलरेडी जॉइन। ज्योति साइनी मैम,
Ma'am, I will invite her. So, thank you, ma'am. Then now, it is my proud privilege to invite Dr. Jyoti Saini, Department of Economics, TGC, Gurgaon, Haryana. Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
ma'am, you are welcome, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank you, ma'am.
connected with us in today International Conference on Women Empowerment. And now this is your time, ma'am, and this is your platform. We are eager to hear from you, from your side, your views, your presentation for our presenters, paper presenters, and also to the entire globe, because it is on Gmeet, isn't it? So I welcome you once again, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like thanks to Mr. Brijesh Kumar sir and organization committee, Professor G. Mary and other professors and other scholars. So, first of all, I start my presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Now I'm starting. The word empowerment. The word women empowerment means giving women the strength and confidence to make their own decision, because for a long time they were denied this power because the inequality has existed for many years, resulting the effort have been made to help women rise from being ignored and powerless to becoming independent and strong. In the past, patriarchal society restricted women's rights. They cannot vote or share their opinion and were mostly confined to household roles. Over the time, many women realized that their lives were meant for more than just homework. Slowly, they started breaking these barriers, and the world began to see the rise of empowered women. Women are known for helping others, supporting both men and women to overcome challenges and lead better lives. Now, women are facing so many current challenges in this era. For centuries, women have faced discrimination, inequality in education, employment, social status. However, empowering women is vital for building an inclusive, progressive society, breaking social barriers. They are facing so many challenges in their working and socially society, like sexual violence, domestic violence, widow abandons, access to education, homeless women with disabilities, economic inequality, caring for child in need. These are current challenges we are facing in the society. Now, education is the most important tool, or we can say education and empowered women not only uplift their family but also contribute to their economic and social growth of the nations. Education is the most important tool for empowering women. When girls are educated, they gain the confidence to follow their dreams and make their own decision. It is not only benefit them but also families and communities. And next, women economic and financial empowerment. We are talking about when the women is educated, they are financially and economically empowered. Even though things have improved, many challenges remaining the rural area, all benefit beliefs still stop women for stepping out and achieving their goal. Women also focus issues like the wages gap, fewer leadership role and safety concern. Empowering the women, so many difficulties they are facing and other things they are. Women economic empowerment, primary drives of women economic empowerment. First of all, we are talking about education and skill development. They are educated and they are getting skill, tackling adverse norms and promoting positive role model. Next, second is legal reforms and equal rights, ensuring legal protection and reforming discriminating law and regulation. Next is redistribution of unpaid work, recognizing, reducing, and redistribution unpaid work and care. Next, digital transformation. If they are educated, they can go digital transform, building assets, digital finance, and properties. Safety and social protection, strengthening visibility, collective voice, and representation. And entrepreneurship. Next is changing business culture and practicing. Financial empowerment. When the female got educated, they have financial empowerment. They can do anything they want. Financial independence, money gave freedom, and when women earn their own money, they can live life on their own terms. Many women start their businesses, joining the workforce and proving their work in the every field. Equal pay, skill training, and support for women entrepreneurs are helping women become financially strong. Government started so many initiatives for the working women and other. We can say that major schemes for women empowerment in India focus as safety, education, health, economic independence is structured around the women lead development approaches. Key initiative include Mission Shakti, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Stand Up India, Mudra Yojana. This is the other formal initiative to improve the women empowerment. Technology is the best way to initiative. Technology can be a powerful tool for women empowerment. Technology enable access to education, economic opportunities, safety measures, and social inclusion. However, the gender digital divide remaining a challenge as a women in the underdeveloped regions often limited access to technology and lower digital literacy rate. Bridging this gap require increasing investment in digital literacy and infrastructure to ensure technology is an inclusive tool for all. Women empowerment is also about giving women the freedom to make their own choice and live life the way they want. It's about making sure that they get the same opportunities as everyone else. We can say when women are empowered, they can do amazing things. They can get an education, work in any field, make decision for themselves. This emotionally help them, but also make families and communities stronger. Programs like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao has are helping women stand all and choose their dreams. For centuries, women have faced discrimination and inequality in education, empowering social status and justice is vital for building an inclusive, progressive society. Even though things have important, many challenging remaining in the same. But an empowering women not only changes life but also uplift her family and contribute to society. We cannot be successful if the women in the lower rung of the society are not empowered. And this is the last. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Jyoti Saini, and you belong to Department of Education, Economics. So that is why you mentioned so many economic things for women in your presentation. It was lively. Your voice and your presentation was lively, evergreen, smile. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
आप हमसे जुड़ गए, बहुत बड़ी बात है. And your takeaways, the eye openers, like the first statement was women have an opinion, but they are not allowed to express their opinion. Yeah, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. Okay, so this is very, very important, and they have vote. When they got vote power, only after they got the independence. Okay, after we got the independence, our ladies, women got a right to vote. But as a woman, she has some opinion. Okay, but she was not allowed to express her opinion. That was the highlight. I really liked it, madam. And education and skill both go hand in hand. Digital transformation, okay, changing business culture, a woman should be taught. Okay, economic independence, technology is the best way. It is the enabled access to education. Okay, we with the help of technology, inclusiveness can be brought into the education. Okay, these are the so many things that you have included in your presentation, and I'm very much thankful to you for getting connected in our today International Women Empowerment Conference, and giving a very lively, thought-provoking, scintillating, wonderful lecture on this topic. Thank you once again, ma'am. Thank you. Now, it is my proud privilege to introduce Dr. Professor Deepti Kaushik, Department of Sociology, INGP College, Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. Ma'am, are you there? Professor Deepti Kaushik is one of our resource person. Madam has joined into the meeting. I welcome you, ma'am. I cordially welcome you. And we are waiting for your lecture. You can go ahead with your presentation. And we are all waiting to hear from you. Your voice and words. Yeah, I can hear your voice.
Hello. एक मिनट प्रेजेंट करती हूँ. एक्चुअली में नेटवर्क इश्यूज थे. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I am traveling. There is network issue. Uh, uh, but, I'm just reaching. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I will start. Uh, to understand where women empowerment stands in India in 2026, you have to look as it is. Hello, I'm audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah, yeah. You have to look as it as deep structural shift in the uh, very soul of our society. For centuries, the narrative of Indian women was one of a slow reclamation of space. We went from the intellectual freedom of the Vedic era to a long dark period where colonial and local patriarchal norms squeezed women out of public life. But the reform movement started by the people like Savitri Bhai Phule, where it's not just Savitri Bhai Phule about the teaching girls within, they were about challenging the patriarchy that instead a woman's only a place was in service to the home. Today we are finally seeing the result of that long game, a move away from viewing women as victims who need saving to seeing them as the literal architect of Indian future. In the political arena, we are witnessing the death of patriarchy by proxy. For years, we talked about the Sarpanchpati, the husband who actually ran the village while his wife held the official seats. But in 2026, that's fading. Thanks to the Nari Shakti Vandan Abhiyan and better digital literacy, women in local panchayat are taking the wheel. They are not just placeholder anymore. They are using their institutional power to flip the script on what matters, moving budgets away from just building roads to investing in social infrastructure like health clinic and local schools. It's a sociological shift where governance is becoming more empathetic and less about performative power. Economically, the change is even more practical. For the longest time, women were trapped in time poverty, doing all the unpaid work at home with no time to build a career. In 2026, the government and the private sectors are finally acknowledging the care economy through the Didi initiative, which in turning 3 crore rural women into high earners, we are seeing the rise of sisterhood economics. It is no longer just one woman struggling to get a loan. It's 10 crore women in self help groups using their collective bargaining power to demand a seat at the table. When you look at the Mudra Yojana statistics, where the vast majority of loan go to the women, you realize that the face of the Indian entrepreneur is no longer just a man in a city. It's a woman in a small town running a manufacturing unit. Socially, we are in the middle of but a cognitive revolution inside the Indian households. The old son meta preference the idea that a family is not complete without a boy is being dismantled by realities. Daughters are now becoming the primary support systems for their aging parents, and parents are noticing. We see this in the fact that women now make up over 43% of STEM graduate in India, one of the highest rates in the world. A daughter's education is no longer seen as a sunk cost of a way to get a better marriage proposal. It's a strategic investment. The Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao movement has moved beyond just keeping girls alive. It's now about giving them the skill to lead. And finally, technology has become the great leveler in 2026. A woman doesn't need to leave her village to change the world. The Namo Drone Didi scheme is the perfect example of this. When you see a rural woman who might not have finished high school operating a high tech agricultural drone, you are not just looking at a job, you are looking at the death of a stereotype. Shelters, shatters the image of the male dominant form and gives that woman technology agency. She is not just a laborer anymore. She is a specialist by weaving together our history, our politics, and our tech. India is not just talking about empowerment anymore. We are finally living it. Ultimately, it's important to understand that women's empowerment is not final destination where the process ends. It's a continuous journey in which each generation plays its part and adds its contribution. Policies and institutions play an important role in this journey, but the most critical role belongs to individuals, their thinking, their decision, and their action. Real change is visible when a mindset shift occurs, when equality becomes a practice, not just a concept. Empowerment can't be limited to number or statistics. It becomes visible when choice in everybody's life expand. Confidence is reflected and decision making becomes independent. If confidence, capability, and clarity are developed together, empowerment emerges naturally, silently, steadily, and sustainably. Thank you so much. It was truly an honor to share these thoughts with all of you. Thank you so much for giving me such opportunity to discuss Women Empowerment 2026.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now,
Thank you.
I open my.
Thank you, ma'am. So nice to have you on our GMET Today International Conference on Multidisciplinary and Women Empowerment 2026. Ma'am, being a sociology department, from sociology department, you really thrown some 100% light on the issues of women, that they are trying to reach the goal of women empowerment. You know, like the most of the things that you talked about, women empowerment, what comes to everybody's mind, what they can recall, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, ये पूरे योजनाएं हैं, लेकिन they are not aware of all these things. Then your takeaways, best takeaways are, you talked about patriarchal form, Savitri Bai Phule, she is an institution and she is a global figure. Okay, so how death of patriarchy was done, and Nari Shakti Abhiyan, ये पूरे योजना, so much interesting, madam. And there, thank you for your wonderful lecture. How sociological shift has taken place in the women empowerment and unpaid work at home. This is a very big issue. Just now I opened my eyes. Like what unpaid work at home, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. we should not think that they are meant for that work. Like even if they are बार बार उन लोगों को क्या करना चाहिए, we should give compliments to them. Of course they are there, but beyond compliments they should be given some remuneration also. This I don't know how to address this issue, but ma'am, you said unpaid work at home. This is a very big issue. 3 crore rural women are facing. How 10 crore rural women, with the help of SHGs, they are benefited. These are all and empowerment is not just about talking about statistics. It is beyond that. It is beyond that. Each generation should enjoy the concept of women empowerment, girl empowerment, youth empowerment, adult empowerment, and technology is a great leveler in bringing like I also tell you, maybe a graduate may not have a smartphone in his or her hand, but what you call a man who is working in what you call construction of a huge buildings, they may have a smartphone. They may have smartphone. They have smartphone. They are getting connected to their family, sons and daughters in evenings, and they are enjoying their life. A great level at technology, but we should go beyond that. It should reach in the form of education. I am very grateful to you, ma'am, for connecting with us and highlighting so many things, in your presentation. It's a really GMeet is a great leveler today now at this time. And on behalf of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University Department of Education and ISSMWA, I really thank you for joining and giving us good presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I cordially invite, and also it's my proud privilege to invite Veena Jyoti Das, doctor, and she's secretary TGO3. If I'm not pronouncing, please excuse me. Human Rights Global Justice International Sociological Association. Ma'am, you are welcome, and thank you for coming into our today international women conference, women empowerment conference. And you have heard so many, like in the last 10 to 15 minutes, few speeches also. And you must be having your own potential points to discuss with us and also share your knowledge to all of us. We are all eagerly waiting for your presentation, and this is your time and this is your platform. Come on. Welcome.
Namaste, everyone. Namaste, everyone. Good afternoon. And I thank you for giving me organizers for this platform to speak. We have on the topic of women empowerment, and I feel glad to be part of this academic engagement. And my previous speaker already highlighted whatever in contemporary time, how what's the kind of shift is happening in women
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Jyoti, ma'am. हाँ ब्रिजेश सर.
मैडम शायद वो मैडम लेफ्ट हो गई है शायद कुछ टेक्निकल इशू की वजह से.
कौन? बिना ज्योति. अच्छा, ओके.
मैम जुड़ने वाली है शायद लेफ्ट हो गई.
अच्छा, ठीक है. I will make 5-minute presentation, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's a wonderful to listen to all the great speakers on issue of women empowerment. I also, as a convener of today International Multidisciplinary Conference on Women Empowerment 2026, I have a responsibility to talk, throw some light on my profession. The topic that I have chosen is self-sufficiency and empowerment in teacher education before and after independence. So actually, what happens, see, training, what is teacher education? What comes to your mind? It is a professional course. It is a professional course. Graduates can take up this course. Okay. So just to recall your high school, how many subjects are there? There are 5 subjects and 3 languages. Okay. So like maths, social, biological science, then what you have, physics, these subjects, and 3 languages. Who will teach? Different teachers will teach. Only one teacher will not teach. So that type of profession training we give in teacher training institutes called as teacher education. Okay, so BED. Okay, now what happens in BED teacher? Who can take up this professional course? Those who are graduates and after entering into the entrance, then they will get the merit list. Then depending upon the availability of the colleges and universities, they are accommodated and they enter into the course. Okay. So what did 1986 new education policy said about pre-service and in-service? It said they are 2 inseparable components. Okay, they are 2 inseparable components, in-service and pre-service. You can't say pre-service is better than in-service.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. I was out of this. I was speaking, but I was not realized that I was not there. I spoke a lot. Anyway, I'm so really. I thanks for your understanding. I appreciate. This is the like technology we were talking about. It empowers us, and again, it constrains us in different way. So I would briefly, like already my previous speaker already highlighted the kind of schemes and all how technology is empowering, how the shift is changing in agencies. But there are some issues which is like cultural issues, which is like constructed gender constraint on gender role, especially on women. That's need to address because women are the still women are seen as a primary caregiver in most of the families, and the role of men and women are not reformed culturally, which is in spite of kind of empowerment. Women are empowerment schemes which is women are getting benefit, but in the cultural front they yet need change. And recent, probably my all the esteemed colleagues in aware of the recent happening in Delhi, where
two women who were preparing for UPSC in a rented apartment when they had a alteration with the landlord, and they were they were from northeast, and they were facing racial and racial plus abuse. Like they were working in parlor, like that's a kind of empowerment also. That's also looked down upon. And these are like disturbing incidences regarding women empowerment and women being the abuser for another women. That's those mindset also need to address in because work is something which is empowered, but it should not be looked down upon, because every work is needed. You are working as a teacher, caregiver, or in working in a parlor, or working in a restaurant, every work should be respected. My observation, and I would like to highlight these issues over the technological economic advancement, economic shift. Without those constraints, no women are safe, no women are truly empowered, because this cultural shift need to address, and those can happen only with proper educations. And also women need to help the other women, uplift other women. Then only we can have a uh, egalitarian society, and a kind of space, a good society where women's status and the condition is better. Those society are civilized more, and those society will thrive more better. And overall the whole impact in the society, in the world will uh, count. I briefly highlighted those issues which are still we need to like they need more focus, more work on that. And I'm thanking for giving me this opportunity. I'm there is a paucity of time. I have to leave somewhere to catch my flight, and I'm extending my heartiest gratitude for the organizer, and thanks a lot. If you have any questions, I'm open for that. For I'm waiting for another 5 minutes, so if you can.
Anybody who has any question to
Dr.
Vinay?
Binay Jyoti Das. Dr. Binay
Jyoti.
Jyoti Das. Yeah.
Wow, Dr. Vinay Jyoti Das. So nice. So, ma'am, here the highlight is that different employability schemes are there, like working in parlor or any other area, restaurant, teacher, or any other field. One should be respected. One should not look down upon. Okay, that is the highlight, because working in a parlor means it is not an easy thing, One should have ample number of skills, Like in every field, for every seat of work, there is responsibility, there are tasks related. Okay, one should perform those tasks, and one should perform those responsibilities, and one should not look down upon. That is there. Okay, another thing is one abuser for another lady, and that is also very, one should, how one can overcome this means one-to-one talk should be there. A counseling should be taking place, like some less qualified, less educated person should come into contact with the higher qualified persons. Then only these things can be eroded, and then we can go for the egalitarian society. We can have better civilizations as proposed by Vinay Jyoti Das. Okay, Vinay Jyoti Das. Okay. So this is nothing but you're throwing light on looking down upon a lady working in other areas. One should be, that is great thing, madam, you have highlighted. And woman is a primary caregiver. Okay.
Basically, what my point is like despite all the technological economic schemes and upliftment, there is a need for change in a mindset. That's reform, that's the culture in sociology we said it's cultural lag, and it is like mindset for the work, respect for work, like it's respected in all other countries like India. Especially in case of India, there are some this kind of disturbing mindset which look down upon women. If you are from a Dalit woman, you will look down upon in a different way. If you are working in other sector, like depending on that, will look down upon. And those mindset, yeah, it's needs understanding, and yeah, education. And then there is a need, need start from the home.
Yeah.
And there is especially again in racial things, like in northeast, women are experiencing in other part of country. And those are very disturbing, because India, especially in case of India, there is a need for understanding about the diversity of India. And India also need to respect the work. That's ma'am, you already spoke about. Because all work, even if you're nurse, sometimes nurse are looked down upon, but they are the caregiver, they are giving the most critical care. These are the things many people look down upon. This cultural mindset needs change, because the only people like you are sitting in the higher position is only contributing, and though you are neglecting the other contribution, that's disturbing. That's need to address. That's my point. And
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
yeah,
your scintillating and wonderful lecture on this occasion. Today's International Conference on Women Empowerment, Multidisciplinary. And okay, I'm very thankful to you for joining, getting connected with us, and telling so many things, eye openers to all of us. And uh, I will continue my presentation. See, just now
thank
in connection with Vinay Jyoti Das, see, it is what it is required, skills. When we talk about skills, they are a jumble of set of learning, skills. Like there is a connection between tailoring and car driving, learning car driving and tailoring. Okay. Then you have, if you come across a child doing what, doing some work, don't don't shout at him, help him to do something, because skills glide, they glide and enter into a other bigger skill learning. That is the nature of this skill. If you see cycling, a child is learning cycling, after some time he will leave, but later on it will be helpful for him to learn what you call other vehicles, like motorcycle or four-wheeler or something like that. In the same way, a handwork is also helpful in learning other major skills. Helping a mother in kitchen by cutting the vegetable is also good, It will help him in doing some other skills. Don't brand him by saying that, oh, you are helping mother in this activity, and or give him chance to do. You just observe whether he is perfectly doing it or not, whether he is able to get 6 marks or 7 marks or 10 marks out of 10. Just and tell them, in this work you are good, but don't restrict to that work only. Give him some other opportunities where he can use his skills in different manner. This world nowadays is full with skills only. Okay. In a computer, before bringing my laptop here, I have to do 2-3 activities. Switch on, then again on the computer, and then look at the light. And my phone was 2-3 times, it was getting disconnected. Here, somebody reminded me. So these are the things, just to download the text or what you call from the email, it is required. Some 3-4 step skill is required. So that is why skills glide. Skills glide and enter into other skills. Just like a human body, a child body had so many number of bones, but adult body had, have some 20 or 30 bones lesser when he grows into an adult. So they glide, skills glide, just like we have in English, some of the gliding consonant sounds and vowel sounds, they glide, you know, they glide very often when you look constantly, when you are a eager and what you call, what greedy listener. When you are a greedy listener, then you will come across from some conversations how they are dragging the conversation. One word is perfectly giving the wrong meaning. Okay. So in teacher education, what happens? We as teacher educators, why I am shouting, going on, telling about two things. 1986 new education. Uh, uh, 1986 policy said pre-service and in-service both are inseparable. Then you have pre-service. What is pre-service? Before entering into the profession, we call it as pre-service. After entering into the profession, we call it as in-service. Okay. So with the two streams, with the three streams, education is doing marvelous thing in any state. Okay. One is BED regular, one is BED distance mode, one is DLI-ED. DLI-ED students, they enter into the profession after passing the intermediate. Okay. So those students, after entering into profession, they come for graduation in distance mode. Most of them come to our university, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University. So that is in service. Pre-service is before entering into that. So why I'm shouting about that? If we give quality education to our teachers, they teach qualitatively in the classroom. Okay, what a social study teacher should not look into the book and teach. From the mind, she has to teach quality education. Okay, so if we give quality education to teachers, teachers give quality education to students, then 10th class, after which they become the lifelong learners, they enter into inter degree and they keep that speed, tempo of learning, and they learn and then they choose their different professions, then we get the good results. Okay, so that is the thing why I talked about all these things. So my presentation, my presentation, this is the time to propose a formal vote of thanks on behalf of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University and on behalf of ISSMWA. I, from the bottom of my heart, thank everyone, all the presenters like Dr. Preeti Shukla, Professor of Education, Dr. Deepti Kaushik, Vinay Jyoti Das, Jyoti Saini, etc. and Brijesh Sahab for helping us to do all these things. And thank you, everyone.
Madam, I just want to say one thing. Dr. Professor Mary.
Yeah.
Professor Mamta Sharma, former principal, Aditi Mahavidyalaya. I want to present my paper.
Ma'am, when the presentations begin, we will give you chance. Today,
when will it start?
Maybe after 5 to 10 minutes, or maybe at this moment. We are doing the presentation of papers from reference number 121. What is your reference number?
Mine is 118.
It was
118.
Okay, then you will get
I could not present
yesterday.
After the, okay. So I'll be online. Please let me know.
Okay, maybe after every presentation is over, at the end, you will get the chance.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you. Once again, I hand over the mic and platform to Brijesh sir. Brijesh sir.
यस, थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू। बस 1 मिनट में हम
हाँ।
इस प्रारंभ करने वाले हैं।
ठीक है सर।
आज का जो हमारा पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन का सेशन रहेगा, अभी स्टार्ट सीरियल नंबर 21 से रहेगा। जो जिनका यस्टरडे प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं हुआ है उनको हम लास्ट में चांस देंगे, वो भी अपना रेडी रहे। तो आज का जो सीरियल नंबर है 21, हर्षा देवानी में। आज का जो हमारा बेस्ट प्रेजेंटेशन रहेगा, आज भी हम फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड का देने वाले हैं। तो जिनका जो आज का जो सीरियल नंबर 21 से, उनका ही जो आज का बेस्ट प्रेजेंटेशन का रहेगा। तो आप जिनके पास पीपीटी है तो अपना पीपीटी के थ्रू कर सकते हैं प्रेजेंटेशन, नहीं तो बिना पीपीटी के अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दे सकते हैं। सभी को 5 मिनट का समय दिया जाएगा। तो आज का जो सीरियल नंबर है 21, हर्षा देवानी। हर्षा देवानी असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर ऑफ कॉमर्स, बिलासपुर छत्तीसगढ़ से है। ओके, नेक्स्ट सीरियल नंबर 22, तनुजा रावत।
Yes, sir, I am here.
असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, गवर्नमेंट डिग्री कॉलेज गृहवाल, उत्तराखंड से है। मैं
Yes, sir.
वेलकम मैम।
Thank you so much, sir.
योर नो वॉइस मैम।
Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible?
यस मैम, पीपीटी नॉट ओपन है।
Sir, let me share my screen. Sir, is my screen visible?
यस मैम।
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, shall I start? Hello. Shall I start?
मैम।
Okay. Respected speakers, guests, presenters, convener of this conference and participants, I, Dr. Tanuja Rawat, I'm here to present my paper here, and my topic is women representation on social media and its impact on gender perspective. So my study is based on how women are represented on social media and what impact it makes among people on their perspective about gender. We are living in the age of social media where none of the class remains untouched of its use. Every individual is using various platforms according to their need and capability. People make stories, act, shoot vlogs of their daily life, their roles, and post it on social media platforms. The others watch it and perceive it in various forms according to their age, education, cultural background, socialization, etc. Here we have seen several women marking their presence on the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., where they make acts, plays, shoot their real life, and raise issues. The people who watch them analyze their roles and personality based on their gender expectations, which often lead to disparities among different societal groups. This leads to varied understanding of gender, and when it leads to discrimination, actually, it becomes harmful for society that claims to protect equal rights. So, we are living in the age of social media. Social media is a tool which gets us the audience from different parts of the world and from different cultures and widens the outreach. Women now have greater social, political, and financial spheres. This not only technologically empowers the women, but also gives a sense of empowerment to the women who are sitting far in a village and watching the women who are present on social media and are raising women rights in a society. With the advancement and development of the technology, women have come up with empowerment of expression and give their opinions, but their presence on these social media platforms have come up with challenges too. These challenges are faced by them in the form of cyberbullying, cyber stalking, online sexual harassment, fake profile creation, obscenity, privacy breach, etc. The online representation of women build the stereotypical representation of men and women that lead people to internalize inequality in ways that even today continue to hinder the development of fairer societies. So my literature review is based on cyber feminism, the concept which was coined by VNS Matrix, an Australian-based feminist group of media. Uh, and also I have related my work with various theories like interactionist theory, dramaturgical approach, gender performity, postmodern perspectives. Here I would like to relate these theories very shortly with these theories. Like first, I'll talk about the interactionist theory. Interactionist theory basically talks about the gender. Uh, it says that gender is not innate or static. It is created and reinforced through daily social interactions, communication, symbols, and language. And there are gender distinctions with respect to access of technology. Like technology is often viewed as masculine, and for this reason, the computer culture is found with less female internet users as compared to the male users. And it also relates gender with the power, as I told you, power game. And the next theory is dramaturgical approach. This was given by Irving Goffman. He talks about two stages, front stage and the back stage. He says that in front stage, we present us in a real life, like the reality is constructed. And like in social media also, we see that the ability to edit, filter, and create images on digital platforms supports the fact that gender is simulacra, means a copy without an original image that is displayed publicly. And we have seen various social media influencers who present themselves very in a fancy way online, but actually they talk about domestic abuse, domestic violence in their actual life. So, postmodern theory also states that gender is an ongoing activity, not a fixed identity. It keeps changing according to societal expectations. People behave as society considers appropriate for men and women. So, on social media too, it is seen that women face cyberbullying, teasing, harassment more as compared to men. The comment section is full of the comments that how should a woman be dressed, how she should talk, what she should say, and what not to say. So these are the theories I related my work with, and my methodology is basically a descriptive research methodology based on the qualitative approach. And I did some content analysis from the sources like social media, contents, journals, research papers, etc., books, magazines. So in my study, I have seen, I drew a conclusion that women's representation on social media has positive impacts as well as negative impacts. In positive, if I talk about the positive impacts, we see that women have come up with a tool that is self-expression. She can express what she feels, what she feels is safe and what is unsafe for her, express her views on social issues and government policies. She has now become empowered with the social media. She has become technologically empowered, empowering others also who are watching her, sometimes by teaching online or learning online or leading online campaigns on various issues. And she also comes up with the awareness programs about the rights, about world happenings, awareness in any field, social, political, or economic. And she can support various communities like LGBTQ rights of widows, rights of children, or tribal communities, etc. And with these positive impacts, as I say, that there are challenges too. So there are negative impacts also, as an earlier speaker has told about that these discriminations in men and women are culturally imbibed. So there are certain gender stereos, there are certain gender stereotypes that how women should act, what she should present online and what not, what is her role in family and what role she doesn't fits into. There are certain beauty standards for her, what should be her body type. There are difference in fairness, skin tone, dark complexion or fair, thin or chubby, long hair or short hair, what should she keep, how should she looks, and objectification, cyber harassment, cyber bullying are other negative impacts which she faced on social media platforms. And so this is the conclusion that social media shapes gender perception. It offers empowerment but also reinforces inequality. So through social media, women can collectively challenge patriarchy and can create new discourses. She can reshape and redesign the gender narratives. So this is all from my side. Thank you so much. Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Very
Thank
nice
you so much.
presentation. Next serial number 23, Neelam Kumari Pathak. Neelam Kumari Pathak. Dr. Deepa Karan. Neelam Kumari. Okay, next serial number 24, Sneha Kumari. Sneha Kumari. Okay, next serial number 25, Ashivat.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, audible, ma'am.
All right, sir. I will just.
Research scholar of English, Doon University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand के है ना, Felix start में only 5 minutes.
Yes, right, sir. I will just take a moment to share my screen. All right. I am going to assume that my presentation is visible to everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. The topic for my presentation today is semiotics of body positivity in literature, the anxiety of looking good and resistance by women in Indian microfiction. Microfiction is a genre of fiction which is stories that are shorter than short stories. So these are stories that are some 50 word, 100 word, 1 to 2 pages short stories. But even after such, dense amount of, small words, these stories pack within themselves very varied and diverse themes. And they're very rich in terms of their context. Semiotics means, I will just briefly introduce my topic before moving on. Semiotics is a branch of linguistics which deals with the study of sign, symbols, and the language structures to decipher how meaning is created, how we derive meaning out of any sign. For example, if you see, I have put a picture of the cover page of the book that I have taken into consideration here for this paper. I have, in this presentation, I will talk about 2 particular short stories from this very book. It's called Skin by Abha Iyengar. She's an Indian writer. This book is...
Slide not change. Please check. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah, sir, I was not changing the slide. I am on the first slide itself right now. I will just take a few moments here.
Okay, only 5 minutes.
Yes, yes, of course. So this, I will dwell a little bit upon this image. So the cover page is that of a bare body and that of a scorpion. A scorpion in the ancient Greek and Mesopotamian literature symbolizes power and resilience. And this picture also depicts that body shaming or issues of discrimination or casual, discriminatory, racist remarks, they sting an individual like a scorpion's sting as well. So that is why I was dwelling on the cover page a little bit. I will move ahead with my introduction and abstract. My article aims to study the semiotics of body, beauty, physical appearance in the literary work of an Indian writer called Abha Iyengar in her collection of microfiction stories called Skin. By means of analysis of two micro stories in the book, the two stories are called one Lovely and the other Unsheathed. This paper seeks to understand how the writer fuses brevity of form and representation of images of body or ideas of beauty, particularly in women characters. She uses binaries of ugly, lovely, dark, fair, validation, isolation, bright moon, dark night, etc., to describe anxieties of characters. Why this is important, in my opinion, is because yesterday as well, Professor Siham talked about power and power that is manifested within. So power from within comes from self confidence, comes from body image consciousness as well, or does not come from but is eradicated by body image consciousness. And these things empower us. What we feel about ourselves empowers us. The design or the methodology that I use is an inductive approach. It follows the method of textual analysis with feminist criticism, post-colonialism, and deconstruction as its theoretical framework. What this study shows is that language is power. These stories subvert the monolithic images of beauty by offering a variety of female bodies, skin colors, images of beauty, or the lack of it. The writer has produced a myriad of different female characters, both urban and rural, going through discrimination in various forms and showing how it is that they battle their discrimination. The two research questions that I aim to address are: one, how are stereotypical representations of body and beauty manifested in contemporary Indian literature? And research question two is, do these representations critique the notions of beauty and aesthetics that are prevalent in the society, or do they perpetuate them? Do these stories critique the body shaming ideas or symbols, etc., or do they enable them and perpetuate them? It aligns obviously with the themes of women and literature and society and women, and also language and women with the conference themes. Moving on to the major part of my presentation is the first story, which is Lovely. It is a micro story that goes up to the length of only 2 pages. It's a story of Rena, the protagonist, who has faced societal prejudice since very early in her life because of her skin color. She's warm, friendly, and she's a doctor. She's a cardiologist, in fact. Rena has heard in pitiful voices always the lament of her relatives and other people that her skin color is darker. Now, as a child, she also wasn't allowed to play outside in the sun because they lived in Chennai and it would tan her even more. When she gave birth, when she becomes a mother, the relatives exclaim in happiness that, thank God, the child didn't inherit any of Rena's genes, which is something very toxic and problematic to say to a new mother. She believed it to be true that she was unlucky because of her complexion. Now, what happens is that she makes a European friend who she meets in an academic conference. And this friend one day tells her that you've got such lovely skin. And that is when it dawns upon Rena that we really are still colonized in our minds. We really need the validation of, the West. She declares it at the end of the story that, dark, light, whatever, she definitely has a thick skin, which is a metaphor, to say that she doesn't care anymore. The second story is Unsheathed. It's the story of Kuri, who is the protagonist. She's an old woman with a prolonged skin condition called eczema and is neglected by her children. She is in her 60s and deserted by her son. She has flaky, itchy red skin and faces discrimination by the society because of that as well, because people feel that, if they come near her, it's going to the disease is going to spread to their skin as well. Her son is pompous and selfish, and he lives in Germany. He decides to visit her one day because her son's wife, Elena, wants to, not wife, but fiance, she wants to meet his mother. Now, Kuri, what she does is she gifts Elena her beautiful heirloom sari, which is of, 40 years old. That sari has red flakes of her skin, and it was itchy for Elena when she wore it. And she called them and told them that there was something in the sari that itched me. Kuri wrote them a letter saying, "I'm glad you wore my skin." So that is Kuri's defiance. That is her final blow in the coffin, that, see, this is what I have been battling with all my life. Reality vis-a-vis representation it's a chart of lived reality of women and the discrimination that they feel vis-a-vis their perceived representation in literature. Women experience societal prejudice in various forms: casual discriminatory conversations in matrimonial ads, television commercials. We know all of that. Bollywood industry stereotypes, etc. Examining the lived reality of women from a post-colonial and deconstructivist lens adds depth and complexities to readers' understanding of female characters and their trauma. Perceived representation. This paper shows how characters face discrimination and become victims of a collective sense of trauma regarding the inferior state of their physical appearance. They demonstrate resistance in various ways, such as Kuri gifting her sari or Rena developing a thick skin. It shows how stories empower us. Professor Sant Dey yesterday said something very thoughtful, that empowerment is not what we write, but what we change. I want to add to that thought today with my presentation, that empowerment is always also in what we think and what we feel, and that is derived by what we read. So reading and literature and stories, they empower us, they educate us, as well as, it is a fact that they also liberate us. Now, moving on to the last bit of my presentation, the theory that I have used and what it explains in my study. Very short fiction or microfiction. These are very small stories, so very readable. Anybody can very easily, approach them. Short storytelling is equal to instant and sustained impact on the reader and opens new and easier publication avenues as well. There's language politics and theory of deconstruction that I talk about. How women are portrayed in literature today. What is the language used to describe bodies and physical appearance? What are women's lived realities and experiences, and how do they become their identity markers? Body politics, power, and the idea of othering somebody. Such representation and the resistance on part of characters ensures that readers experience a sense of empathy and solidarity when they read about stories of women having gone through discrimination. I will leave the presentation with a recommendation. This book itself, Skin by Abha Iyengar, is a collection of some 15 very, very short stories. So it's very readable, but the stories are very fun, very exciting, and also very telling of, the conference theme as well. Very well aligned with stories about discrimination, about women, about, power dynamics and power politics. So I will leave you all with a book recommendation, like any ideal literature student would do. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And here is my email. If anybody has any questions, you can, of course, reach me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Brijesh, sir.
Thank you, well. Thank you very much. Well. Nice presentation and good PPT. Next, serial number 26, Dr. Harshit Kumar Sharma. Dr. Harshit Kumar.
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yes, Assistant Professor of Management, Sri Dadaji Institute of Technology, Khandwa, Madhya Pradesh. Please start only 5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Just confirm me, my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, fine. The topic of my presentation is role of e-commerce in promoting women entrepreneurship. And coming to the introduction part, yes, we have already discussed that women entrepreneurship is a key driver of economic growth and social development. And in India, women basically faces the barriers like limited finance, mobility constraints, and social norms. And when we talk about e-commerce, it has now transformed traditional business model because it enables low investment, easy market entry, global reach towards the customers. It also provides flexibility to balance business and also family responsibility because you can do e-commerce from your home also. And as we talk about the infrastructure, yes, definitely the growth of internet, smartphones, and digital payment supports online businesses. Now, women can operate businesses from home-based digital platforms. So now e-commerce acts as a tool for financial independence and empowerment for the women. And despite having the opportunities, and there are some challenges like digital literacy, competition, logistics, and something more. So this study basically focuses on analyzing the role of e-commerce in promoting women entrepreneurship. Now, talking about the objectives to analyze the role of e-commerce in promoting women entrepreneurship. Yes, second objective is to examine the impact of e-commerce on income and empowerment. Third, to identify challenges faced by women entrepreneurship in online businesses. And the last, to suggest measures for enhancing women participation in e-commerce. Now, coming to the research methodology part that we have used, the research design is qualitative and descriptive in nature. And for the data collection, we have used semi-structured interview. The area of research was carried out in Madhya Pradesh within the 3 representative districts like Khandwa, Indore, and Bhopal. Sample design, we have taken purposive sampling and we have chosen 50 participants, wherein all the 50 participants were women sellers, entrepreneurs who are selling their articles and the products on e-commerce platform like Meesho, Amazon, and Flipkart. And when we talk about data analysis, we have used chi-square test and thematic analysis for analyzing of qualitative data. Now coming to the thematic analysis, we have chosen 5 themes. Number 1 is financial empowerment. Second is flexibility. Third is market expansion. 4 is skill development. And 5th are challenges. As we talk about the thematic analysis, it clearly indicates that e-commerce plays a transformative role in promoting the women entrepreneurship because it provides financial opportunities, flexibility to work, and obviously it also helps us in skill enhancement. So the presence of operational and structural challenges are also there, and it suggests that additional support systems are required to ensure the sustainable growth in e-commerce. Now coming to the hypothesis part, we have taken 3 hypotheses and tested. The number 1 hypothesis that we have taken null. E-commerce has no significant impact on women empowerment. We have tested this hypothesis with the use of chi-square test, and we got the chi-square value that is 6.12. P-value that we got 0.047, that is less than 0.05 level of significance. Degree of freedom, that is 2. So here the null hypothesis is rejected, which indicates that e-commerce has statistically significant positive impact on women empowerment, and it also reported high level of confidence, decision-making ability, and financial independence among the women entrepreneurs. Now coming to the second hypothesis, e-commerce does not significantly increase income. Again, we have taken chi-square test, and the chi-square value is 7.32, p-value is 0.025, that is less than 0.05, degree of freedom 2. Here also the null hypothesis is rejected, which shows e-commerce significantly contributes to the income growth among women entrepreneurs. Now coming to the third hypothesis, that e-commerce does not significantly contribute to business sustainability. Here the chi-square value is 5.89, p-value is 0.052, that is greater than 0.05 level of significance. Degree of freedom here we have used is 2. Here the null hypothesis is accepted. This indicates basically the e-commerce does not show a statistically significant impact on business sustainability at 5% level of significance. But these results are very close to significance, which suggests that while e-commerce helps initiate businesses, long-term sustainability depends on additional factors like digital literacy, sourcing of the articles from the vendors, financial support, market strategy, and operational efficiency. Now, coming to the recommendation part, yes, we have to provide digital literacy and e-commerce training platforms for the women entrepreneurs so that they will become empowerment. Yes. Second, we have to increase the access to the financial support, like example, microfinance facility, easy credit facility to women entrepreneurs, and also developing a very strong digital infrastructure, especially the women who belongs to rural areas and semi-urban areas. We have to also promote the awareness program about the e-commerce platform and opportunities so that the new women entrepreneurs also come up and take the advantage of this particular marketplaces. We have to encourage the government schemes and subsidies also specifically for the women-led businesses. We have to establish mentoring and networking platforms for women entrepreneurs so that they can discuss, they can teach, they can help each other to grow also. We have to provide training in digital marketing, because you can see this is the era of digital marketing, and women entrepreneurs are increasingly using of the smartphones, and with the help of digital marketing, they can promote their brands, they can engage customers. Yes, definitely we have to provide the logistics and the supply chain management support so that the women entrepreneurs, they can sell their articles and they can dispatch their articles from their place to the customer addresses. Yes, we have to encourage the family and societal support system also so that they will come in front forward to motivate the women entrepreneurs. And yes, then definitely we have to create a women-centric e-commerce platforms so that they will have a better visibility for their products, and definitely they will have a very good growth. So the conclusion part is that definitely the e-commerce plays a transformative role in promoting women entrepreneurship, because it provides economic opportunities, income opportunities, it provides flexibility to the women entrepreneurs so that they can balance their work life and family balances. It also creates empowerment for the women, because e-commerce platform, it eradicates the traditional business model and it comes up with the new business platform like Meesho, Amazon, and Flipkart. Definitely the finding demonstrate that e-commerce significantly contributes to the income generation, financial independence, business sustainability among women entrepreneurs. So in conclusion, e-commerce is not merely a business platform, but it is a catalyst for social and economic empowerment of women, contributing to the inclusive and sustainable development. So this is all about from my side. If you have any question, definitely you can ask. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very nice presentation, sir. Next serial number 27, Dr. Komal C. Dr. Komal C. Gare. Okay, next serial number 28, Miss Sonam. Miss
Yes,
Sonam
yes.
Budhrani.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Assistant Professor of Finance and HR. Yes, please start, ma'am. Only 5 minutes.
Yes, I'll just share my screen now. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Sonam Budhrani, Assistant Professor from Gyan Ganga Institute of Technology and Sciences, Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. The topic of my research paper is From Enterprise to Empowerment, the Rise of Women Entrepreneurs. Starting with the introduction, definition of the women entrepreneurship. A women entrepreneur is a woman or a group of women who initiate, organize, or run a business venture. According to the Government of India, women entrepreneurship can be defined as owning and controlling an enterprise with a minimum 51% financial interest of capital and generating at least 51% employment for women. Next is the definition of the entrepreneurship, the ability to start, organize, and run a new firm,
facing financial and other risks to generate profit and compete in a globalized economy. The changing landscape in India. Since the 21st century, growing industrialization, urbanization, and social legislations have transformed the women's status in India. Women have shifted from traditional cottage industries to non-traditional higher level activities, small to medium enterprises and beyond. This has actually led because of the higher education, more women pursuing the technical and professional education, special entrepreneurship training programs and dedicated financial cells, and glass ceiling shattered. Women now active in each particular sector from pickles to telecommunication. These are the objectives of my study. First is examining the success factors, identifying the internal and the external factors affecting the success of women entrepreneurs. Second is the identifying the barriers and the problems, study the problems and the obstacles women face during the entrepreneurial journey. The research methodology which I have used for this particular research is actually based on the secondary research. That is, the data is collected from the journals, books, and websites, categorizing the factors into pull and push motivations. It mainly focuses on different problems faced and factors that affect the success of female entrepreneurs. Now, these are the factors which actually influence the success. First, beginning with the mindset and confidence, overcoming the stereotypes and building self-belief is crucial for entrepreneurial success. Second is access to education. Quality education equips women with skills and knowledge to succeed in business. Next is access to finance. Lack of financial resources and collateral remains a significant barrier for women entrepreneurs. Networking and mentorship. Limited access to professional networks and mentors impact the business opportunities. Here are some more factors related to the social and cultural norms as well. That is the challenges from the traditional roles. Next is the legal and regulatory environment, which is related to the complex bureaucracy and policies of the government. Next is work-life balance. Overall maintaining a balance between the family and the business as well, and supportive ecosystems, which include the incubators, accelerators, and initiatives. Success requires a multifaceted approach, including government policies, private sector initiatives, civil society efforts, and cultural shift towards gender equality. These supportive systems, such as incubators, accelerators, and government schemes, greatly impact the success of women entrepreneurs by providing resources, training, and funding. Next comes the obstacles in the path of women entrepreneurs, or the barriers, which is related to the lack of confidence. Social cultural barriers, which is preference for the male children, results in lack of schooling and training for women. Mobility constraints. Social conservativeness limits the women's mobility, restricting career scope. Market-oriented risk, that is the stiff competition and dependence on the middlemen for marketing and sales. Next is the financial and the structural challenges. According to the UND reports, despite higher loan repayment rates than men, women face more difficulties obtaining the credit due to the biased attitudes of banks, inadequate working capital. Very few women hold tangible property to offer as security for external funds. And next is the managerial skill gaps. Low management skills force the reliance on the intermediaries, especially in marketing and sales. Now, here are some government initiatives and the key findings of the particular study. India has launched the multiple schemes for women entrepreneurs, though awareness remains low, like the schemes which have been mentioned here: Bharatiya Mahila Bank, Sri Shakti and Den Shakti, Mudra Yojana for women, Annapurna and Sen Kalyani schemes, Mahila Udyam Nidhi scheme. Now comes the key findings and the suggestions of this particular study. Self-motivation and family effort support are the most significant motivators for women entrepreneurs. Despite the government efforts, minimal impact is seen on barriers, largely due to the lack of awareness of available schemes. Women entrepreneurs face challenges of lack of experience, gender discrimination, work-life balance issues, and difficulty in raising capital. So with this, I would like to conclude. Women entrepreneurship improves the national and family wealth. Women have proved that they are the second to no one in contributing to economic growth. These are the key success drivers, which is related to the education, occupational experience, managerial skills, family support, strong social ties, and internal motivation. The major barriers are lack of awareness, skills, family support, and financial access remains the primary cause of failure in establishing new firms. The way forward, the research must analyze why families demotivate the women entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship must be moduled with traits to meet the global market challenges. Thank you so much. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Nice presentation. Next serial number 29, Dr. Vidyutma Sharma. Dr. Vidyutma Sharma. Okay, next serial number.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So actually, earlier was my presentation, but due to some issue I couldn't attend. So
Your
when will be my next?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Your serial number, ma'am?
Just a minute. It's 127.
Okay, please start, ma'am. Please start. Dr. Komal C. Gare, ma'am, assistant
Yes,
professor.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please start.
Shall I present?
Yes, madam. Only
Thank you
5
so
minutes.
much. Thank you so much. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, respected chairperson, distinguished guests, and fellow researchers. I, Dr. Komal Megade, assistant professor at Future Academy of Science and Commerce. Today, I am presenting my research titled Financial Inclusion and Women Empowerment, an Empirical Analysis in Indian Context. This study focuses on understanding how access to financial services, especially in digital era, contributes to empowering women economically and socially. In the context of India's rapid digital transformation, initiatives like digital payments and financial inclusion programs have created new opportunities for women. However, the extent to which this translates into real empowerment remains an important area of study. Through this research, I attempt to analyze the relationship between financial inclusion and women empowerment using empirical data and statistical tools. Now, I would like to begin with the introduction of the topic. Financial inclusion is important for inclusive growth. In India, initiatives like Jan Dhan Yojana and UPI have improved access to financial services. Women are increasingly using digital financial tools, but challenges like low literacy, low financial literacy, and limited digital access still exist. This study examines how financial inclusion contributes to women empowerment. This study reviews around 20 research papers from national and international journals. The literature mainly focuses on financial inclusion and women empowerment, digital finance, financial literacy, digital access, income factors, and studies in Indian context. Overall, previous studies highlights a strong link between financial inclusion and women empowerment. There is limited research combining digital financial inclusion, empowerment, and SEM models. Few micro-level studies exist for Tier 2 cities like Nashik. The mediating role of financial inclusion is not adequately explored.
This slide explains about the research methodology adopted. This study uses a descriptive and analytical research design. Primary data was collected through structured questionnaire from women respondents. Secondary data was obtained from reports like World Bank and Reserve Bank of India. It uses a structured sampling design. Target population, women with actual or potential access to financial services. 300 respondents were selected. Convenience sampling with stratified support, urban and semi-urban areas, Tier 2 city, Nashik and nearby regions. The study includes 3 variables to analyze relationship. Independent variables are financial literacy, digital access, and income level. Mediating variable is financial inclusion, and dependent variable is women empowerment. Control variables are age, education, occupation, and location. The study tests the impact of digital financial inclusion on women empowerment. The hypotheses are: the first H0 hypothesis is no significant impact, and alternate hypothesis is there's a significant impact exists. There are further sub-hypotheses: financial literacy, digital access, income level influences financial inclusion. Financial inclusion further influences women empowerment. It also acts as a mediator between independent and dependent variables. This section presents the demographic profile of respondents. Majority 36.7 are aged 26 to 35 years, showing a young and economically active group. Most respondents are well educated. Around 80% have graduate or higher qualification, indicating good awareness of financial systems. This section highlights digital usage pattern of respondents. A majority actively use digital platform. The chart shows balanced use of smartphones, internet access, and digital payments. This indicates a strong readiness of digital financial inclusion. This slide presents the descriptive statistics of 3 variables. Financial literacy has a mean of 3.85, indicating a fairly good level among respondents. Digital access shows a slightly higher mean of 4.02, suggesting strong access. Income has the lowest mean at 3.45, indicating moderate income levels. Financial inclusion stands at 3.9, reflecting relatively good financial inclusion. Women empowerment has the highest mean of 4.10, showing strong empowerment. Standard deviations are all below 1, meaning responses are consistent with low variability. Overall, the data suggests positive trends across all variables. This slide shows the correlation and regression analysis. All variables are positively correlated, indicating they move in the same direction. Financial literacy has a strong correlation with financial inclusion, that is 0.70. Digital access shows strong relationship, especially with financial inclusion, that is 0.75. Women empowerment is highly correlated with financial inclusion. Financial literacy. Financial inclusion shows strongest impact with beta value 0.40. Income has moderate positive correlation with all variables. Moving to regression results, the R value is 0.79, showing strong overall relationship. The R square is 0.62, meaning 62% of the variation in women empowerment is explained by the predictors. Adjusted R2 0.61 confirms the model is reliable with minimal shrinkage. Overall, the results suggest that financial literacy, digital access, income, and financial inclusion significantly contribute to women empowerment. This slide presents the regression coefficients of the predictors. All variables are strongly significant as p-values are below 0.05. Financial literacy has a beta of 0.25, showing a positive and meaningful impact. Digital access has higher beta value of 0.30, indicating stronger contribution. Income has a smaller but still significant effect, 0.18. Financial inclusion shows the strongest impact with a beta of 0.40. Overall, financial inclusion is the most influential factor, followed by digital access, financial literacy, and income. This suggests improving access to financial services and digital tools can greatly enhance women empowerment. This slide presents the results of factor analysis. The KMO value is 0.82, greater than 0.7 is acceptable, indicating the data is suitable for factor analysis. The Bartlett's test is significant, confirming that variables are correlated enough to proceed. 4 key factors were extracted from the analysis. These factors are financial literacy, digital access, financial inclusion, and women empowerment. Together, these factors represent the main dimension identified in the study. The slide presents the proposed SEM model. Financial literacy, digital access, and income are treated as independent variables. These variables influence financial inclusion. Financial inclusion acts as a mediating factor in the model. It further impacts women empowerment. And overall, the model shows how access, knowledge, and income contribute to empowerment through financial inclusion. The slide summarizes the results of hypothesis testing. All proposed hypotheses from H1 to H1E are accepted. This indicates strong empirical support for the model. Each relationship tested in the study is statistically significant. Overall, the findings validate the proposed framework and its assumptions. This slide highlights the key findings of the study. Digital financial inclusion has a significant positive impact on the outcome. Financial literacy plays a crucial role in improving inclusion and decision-making. Digital access strongly influences participation in financial services. Income level also affects the degree of financial inclusion. Financial inclusion acts as a mediator between key variables and women empowerment. Additionally, there are important behavioral and social impacts observed. This slide presents the key recommendations based on the finding. Financial literacy programs should be enhanced to improve awareness and skill. Strengthening digital infrastructure is essential for better access. There is a need to promote financial products tailored specifically for women. Encouraging digital payment adoption can increase financial inclusion. Government policies and initiatives should provide strong support. Self-help group can play an important role in empowering women and improving access. This slide outlines the implications of the study, which typically explains why research matters and how its findings are to be used. An academic implication, it adds to the knowledge and guides further research. Practical implication, it provides real-world applications of solutions, and social implication impacts society, behavior, and quality of life. This study has several limitations based on limited primary data, that is 300 respondents. It is restricted to specific geographic area. Possible bias from self-reported data is possible, and it covers limited variables compared to broader focus factors. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Very nice presentation.
Thank you so much.
Next, serial number 29, Dr. Vidyotma Sharma. Vidyotma Sharma. Okay, next serial number 30, Dr. Susmita Malik.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I myself Sonam Budrani, I have already made the presentation of this particular research paper. Actually, Dr. Shushmita Malik ma'am is the author and I am the co-author, serial number 128. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next serial number 32, Dr. Kuber Singh Gurupan. Dr. Kuber Singh. Okay, next serial number 33, Peace Sai Siri. Peace Sai Siri, M. Star.
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir. Just a minute. I will share my screen, sir.
Sai Siri, student of English, Fatima College, Madurai, Tamil Nadu. Yes, please start, ma'am. Only 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Is my screen visible, sir?
No, ma'am.
I have a network issue, sir. Shall I present next, sir?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next serial number 34, Eva Kanwar.
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Eva. Sir, yes, ma'am. Please start with.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
yes.
Okay, okay. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings to all the dignitaries present and participants. The title of my paper is The Evolution of Women's Representation in 21st Century Cinema, a Study. Historically, mainstream cinema across global industries, Hollywood, Bollywood, and beyond, has frequently silenced or muted the female voice, framing women as passive recipients of violence, symbolic pretexts of war, subjugated dependence, identities erased by patriarchal structures, a helpless victim awaiting rescue by a male hero. Two of the most universally recognizable examples of this archetype are Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast, where the heroine's gender performance is limited to suffering, patience, and gratitude, performed solely for the male gaze and the promise of romantic salvation. These narratives reinforced the idea that femininity is inherently weak, dependent, and voiceless. Drawing upon Judith Butler's theory of performativity, which argues that gender is not an innate essence, but a repeated set of socially constructed behaviors and gender acts. This paper analyzes how traditional cinema compelled women to perform victimhood as though it were natural and inevitable. However, the 21st century has witnessed a significant shift in women's gender performance across world cinema, evolving audience expectations and global movements for gender equality. This research paper traces the transformation of on-screen women from voiceless victims to multidimensional leaders, heroes, saviors, and independent protagonists who perform gender on their own terms. Or reject performance. The paper brings in Razi, Piku, Mardani, and Gangubai Kathawari to demonstrate how even traditionally patriarchal film industries are redefining female agency, leadership, and self-determination. These films showcase heroines who break free from prescribed gender acts, perform strength without apology, and reject the socially constructed role of the awaiting damsel. The strong character has itself become a cliche, a new socially constructed expectation that women must be physically powerful, emotionally invulnerable, and romantically uninterested to be considered relevant. Intersectional blind spots persist. Dalit, tribal, queer, disabled, and elderly women remain largely invisible in mainstream cinema. Behind the camera, female directors, writers, and producers are still vastly outnumbered by their male counterparts. In Bollywood, the uh, the persistence of item numbers, the male gaze, and the objectification of women's bodies sits uncomfortably alongside progressive narratives. Films like Queen reject the victim savior binary by sending a heartbroken woman on her honeymoon alone, where she discovers that her identity was never dependent on a husband. The movie Razi transforms the female lead from a potential victim of war into a spy, soldier, a national hero, performing gender acts of courage, deception, and violence traditionally reserved for men. The movie Piku offers a heroine whose strength is not dramatic but everyday. She runs a business, cares for her father, and refuses to perform the socially constructed role of the romantic marriage seeking woman. The movie Mardani places a female police officer as the sole savior of trafficked children, proving that authority and vengeance are not masculine traits. The movie Gangubai Kathawari takes a woman sold into prostitution and transforms her into a political leader, reclaiming her sexuality and her voice as sources of power rather than shame. The movie Dangal shows daughters who become world champion wrestlers, winning their final matches without a father. The movie English Winglish gives us a housewife who learns English not to impress anyone but to regain her own self respect. And the movie Thappad dares to argue that one slap is enough, that a woman can leave a perfect marriage simply because she refuses to perform the gender act of forgiveness. What unites these diverse films is their shared understanding that performativity is both a cage and a key. The cage is the repetition. The cage is the repetition of socially constructed gender acts over centuries. The idea that women must be soft, silent, patient, and forgiving. The key is the awareness that because gender is performed, it can be re-performed differently. The heroines of 21st century cinema do not discover a pre-existing true feminine self. They invent themselves through new gender acts. Rani in Queen learns to walk alone, eat alone, and say no. Sehmat in Razi learns to lie, kill, and survive. Shivani in Mardani learns to chase, beat, and dominate. Gangubai learns to negotiate, command, protect. Each through repeated acts of courage and defiance, performance herself. The cinema of 21st century is intentionally moving away from the idea of a helpless heroine waiting to be saved. She is no longer the story that is told. She is the one telling it. She is no longer the one waiting to be saved. She is the one saving. And in the cinema of 21st century, her voice finally, fully, fiercely is heard. And at last, she doesn't need a hero. She is the hero. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Nice presentation.
Excuse me,
Next.
sir. I'm Sai Shri, sir. I am ready now, sir. Shall I present now?
Okay, ma'am. Please start.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So good afternoon, everyone. Today, I invite you to think about what it means to live on the brink between belief and doubt, loss and healing. My presentation titled Thinking and Rethinking Women on the Brink in Yagyashi's Transcendent Kingdom explores the liminal spaces inhabited by women in the novel. Through the character of Gifty, a neuroscience PhD student, the narrative brings together deeply personal struggles, her mother's depression, and her brother's death. What makes this story powerful is the way it places the women in between spaces, between faith and science, grief and healing, and cultural identity and assimilation. These boundaries are not fixed, they are constantly shifting, and it is within these uncertain spaces that the women learn to survive, adapt, and redefine themselves. Gyasi represents women as being continuously on the brink, not just as breakdown, but also through breakthrough and transformation. In this presentation, we will discuss how these liminal spaces are not just moments of crisis, but also sites of meaning, resilience, and change. So, scholars like Selina Mencia in Diasporic Identity and Belonging in Transcendent Kingdom focus on issues of migration and cultural belonging. Similarly, Rachel Thompson, in Narratives of Silence and Survival, examines how silence operates as a response to trauma. Further, Kofi Hyoso, in Addiction and Memory in Transcendent Kingdom, explores how addiction reshapes memory and family relationships. While these studies offer valuable insight, they mainly focus on themes like identity, trauma, and survival from emotional and social perspectives. However, there is also a clear research gap that very few studies examine how cognition and internal mental process shape the character's response to crisis. This study addresses that gap by focusing on thinking patterns, perception, and mental processing as key strategy of survival. Methodology used in this research, as this research follows a qualitative and interpretive approach. We focus on a close reading of Transcendent Kingdom, paying particular attention to how mental process and patterns of thinking are represented. Instead of looking only at external events, we examine how the protagonist perceives, processes, and responds to personal crisis. In this sense, cognition is treated as a strategy of survival and control. I also explore how thought and emotion work together in shaping a sense of improvement. Moving to the theoretical framework, this study is grounded in cognitive literary theory. We draw on Lisa Genshine's idea of theory of mind, which explains how readers understand characters by interpreting their thoughts and intentions. Her concept of mind reading highlights how we actively engage with characters' inner worlds. We also use Alan Palmer's concept of internal consciousness, which focus on how narratives represent a character's inner thinking processes. His idea of social minds further shows that these thoughts shared human experience across narratives. Finally, Patrick Hogan helps connect cognition with emotion. He argues that thinking and feeling are deeply interconnected, and his idea of emotional universals explains how readers relate to shared human experience across narratives. Together, these three theorists helps us analyze how cognition function as a central force in shaping experience and resilience. Now, I move to the central women in the text who exist constantly on the brink of understanding, collapse, and transformation. First, the narrator, Gifty. She is a neuroscience PhD student at Stanford, and what makes her character compelling is the way her mind is always working, questioning, analyzing, and rethinking her past. Through Alan Palmer's concept of internal consciousness, we can see that Gifty's character is shaped not just by what happens to her, but by how she processes those experiences. Her thoughts move between science and faith, showing a continuous tension between rational inquiry and spiritual longing. Next, Gifty's mother. She arrives with hope, but gradually becomes consumed by depression. What is important here is how her mental state is understood. Using Patrick Hogan's idea of the emotion cognition relationship, we see that her suffering is not just emotional, but deeply tied to how she experiences and interprets loss. Her silence and withdrawal reflect how overwhelming emotion can reshape one's perception of reality. Finally, Nana, the grandmother, she is though physically absent in the novel, she remains psychologically present. Through Lisa Sunshine's theory of mind, readers actively construct Nana's presence by imagining her influence on the family. She represents memory, cultural roots, and the tradition that continue to shape the character's thinking even in her absence. So, these women characters are not just characters, they are the thinking, feeling minds. Each of them exists in the state of constant negotiation, and it is this inner process of thinking and rethinking that places them on the brink. The tension between faith and science in Gifty's life. Gifty grows up in a Pentecostal environment, shaped by her mother's strong religious belief. The church gives her a sense of certainty, teaching her to see suffering through ideas of sin, redemption, and divine intervention. However, as she moves into neuroscience, her perspective begins to shift. As a PhD student, she studies reward seeking behavior in mice, trying to find scientific explanation for her brother's addiction and her mother's depression. Using Alan Palmer's concept of internal consciousness, we understand this as a conflict within her mind. Her thoughts are constantly negotiating between faith and reason. So, Gifty exits on the brink, not choosing one over the other, but continuously thinking and rethinking between the two. Gifty's mother's condition has a state of being on the brink. Her depression places her in a liminal space. She is physically present but emotionally absent. She lies in bed for long periods, almost like a ghost within her own home. Using Patrick Horgan helps us explain how intense emotional suffering reshapes perception and behavior. So, here the mother also exits between presence and absence, and this in-between state forces Gifty into a position of early emotional responsibility. Here, we move from individual to the generational, looking at how pain travels from grandmother to mother and to daughter. Generation moves across from Ghana to America and from mother to daughter. The grandmother's silence and unspoken pain don't disappear. They transform in the mother as depression and intense religiosity, and finally appear in Gifty as questioning and analysis. Patrick Horgan's idea of emotional universals explains why this generational trauma feels so relatable, because these patterns of pain, silence, and survival repeat across culture and
Please
narrative.
conclude, ma'am. Please conclude.
Yes, sir. So, here the main three revelations in the novel is: first, women's strength is not shown through clear resolution, but through endurance, the ability to hold grief, faith, and doubt at the same time. Second, liminality, the state of being in between, is not a weakness but a space of transformation. It is at the brink that Gifty begins to reshape her identity. And third, the refusal to choose between science and religion becomes a powerful act of agency. Remaining in uncertainty itself becomes a form of resilience. To conclude, Transcendent Kingdom shows us that the brink is not simply a place of danger, but a place of through Gifty and her mother, we see that living between faith and science, grief and healing, and homeland and diaspora is not a weakness but a form of strength. Their life suggests that uncertainty itself can become a kind of grace. Rather than offering clear answers, the novel invites us to remain within complicity. In this sense, transcendence is not about escaping struggle, but about learning to live within it with courage, curiosity, and compassion. Here, Patrick Horgan's idea of emotion and cognition helps us to understand how endurance becomes strength, while Lisa Genshine's theory of mind shows how we engage with these layered inner experiences. Alan Palmer's internal consciousness reminds us that this transformation happens within thought itself. So ultimately, the novel redefines survival not as finding stability, but as learning to stand and even move forward at the edge. So, to think and to rethink is to survive. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for the presentation. Next, serial number 35, Dr. Brajesh Kumar. Dr. Brajesh Kumar. Okay, next year number 36, Sachin Singh. Sachin Singh. Okay, next year number 37, Dr. Musrat Parveen. Dr. Musrat Parveen. Okay, next serial number 38, Miss Vidya Kishan.
Hello, sir. I'm there, sir. Vidya Kishan Alva.
Alva, research scholar, Dakshin Kannada University, Karnataka. Yes, please start now. Only 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm a research scholar from Srinivas University, Department of Commerce and Management, Mangalore. My research topic is Women Empowerment through Entrepreneurial Development. Women empowerment refers to the process of enabling women to gain access to resources, opportunities, and decision making power in social, economic, and political spheres. Entrepreneurial development plays a crucial role in this process by promoting financial independence and self reliance among women. In developing economies like India, women entrepreneurship is increasingly recognized as a key driver of inclusive growth, poverty reduction, and gender inequality. The concept of women empowerment involves enhancing women's ability to make strategic life choices. It includes economic empowerment, that is, access to income generating opportunities, social empowerment, that is, improved status and reduced discrimination, political empowerment, that is, participation in decision making process, psychological empowerment, confidence, self esteem, and autonomy the women gain. Now, the entrepreneurship contributes to all these dimensions by giving women control over resources and decisions. When we talk about entrepreneurial development, it refers to the process of improving the skills, knowledge, and competence required to start and manage business successfully. Entrepreneurship empowers women by providing financial independence, that is, reducing dependence on others, enhancing decision making power within households and society, creating employment opportunities for other women, promoting innovations and leadership skills, and improving the overall quality of life and social status. Thus, entrepreneurship serves as a powerful tool for transforming women's role in society. The entrepreneurial development is needed due to gender inequality in employment and wages, limited access to education and skill development, underutilization of women's potential in economic activities, need for poverty eradication, and rural development. Government focuses on inclusive and sustainable growth. Empowering women economically leads to broader social development. There are several factors that influence women entrepreneurship. Personal factors such as education, skills, motivation, risk taking ability. The socio-cultural factors such as family support, societal norms, traditions, and the economic factors such as access to capital, markets, infrastructure, institutional factors such as government policies, training, programs, and the NGOs. There are various challenges faced by the women entrepreneurs, that is, lack of access to finance and credit facilities, limited mobility and market exposure, balancing the family responsibilities and business, gender discrimination and societal restrictions, lack of technical knowledge and training. Addressing these barriers is crucial for effective empowerment. Now, the role of government and NGOs and self-help group in women entrepreneur development are: they provide financial support scheme and subsidies. They offer entrepreneurship trainer and skill development programs. They provide microfinance and credit support. They encourage savings and investment habits among the rural women. They promote small scale and rural enterprises, and they act as a catalyst at a grassroots level of empowerment. Now, the impact of entrepreneur development on women empowerment is: it leads to increased income and improved standard of living. It creates confidence and leadership qualities among the women. It enhances their participation in social and economic decisions. It leads to reduction in poverty and gender inequality. It creates employment opportunities and community development. It brings both individual and societal transformation. To conclude, women empowerment through entrepreneurial development is essential for achieving sustainable and inclusive economic growth. It not only improves women's lives but also contributes to national development. Empowered women entrepreneurs are key to building a progressive and equitable society. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for presentation. Next, serial number 39, Dr. Samina. Dr. Samina. Okay, next serial number 40, Dr. Narayan Dimiti. Dr. Narayan. Okay, next serial number 41, Kalpana Sharma. Kalpana Sharma. Okay, next serial number 42, Santosh. Santosh. Okay, next serial number 43, Dr. Gitanjali Pankaj. Dr. Gitanjali. Okay, next serial number 44, Arpita Mishra. Arpita Mishra. Okay, next serial number 45, Raghunath Ram.
Sir, I'm Arpita Mishra. I'm here, sir.
Okay, Arpita Mishra, my assistant professor of MBA.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please start. Only
Yes,
5.
sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, respected chairperson, respected dignitaries, and dear fellow researchers. I am Arpita Mishra. Today, my research topic is role of women empowerment in Indian economy. Introduction about this topic: women empowerment is essential for the overall development of any country. In India, women continue nearly half of the population, but their participation in economic activities is still limited. Empowering women is important not only for gender equality, but also for economic growth and development. So my objective for this research, the main objectives of this study are: first, to understand the concept of women empowerment; second, to analyze its role in the Indian economy; and third, to identify challenges and suggest possible solutions. Concept of women empowerment. Women empowerment is a multidisciplinary concept. It includes economic empowerment, which means access to income and jobs. Social empowerment ensure equal status in society. Political empowerment involves participation in decision making, and education empowerment helps women gain knowledge and skills. Economic role. Women play a very important role in the economy. They contribute to GDP through employment and entrepreneurship. Their participation increases productivity and efficiency. Women entrepreneurs also generate employment opportunities. So my data analysis is, I have chosen secondary data for this research paper. According to recent data, female labor force participation in India has increased from about 23% and in 2018 to around 34% in 2023. This shows improvement, but it is still lower compared to global standards. This indicates that there is still a lot of untapped potentials. Challenges for my research paper: despite process, women face several challenges. These include gender inequality, low workforce participation, lack of education, and workplace issues such as harassment and unequal pay. These challenges limit their full contribution to the economy. Government schemes. The government The Government of India has launched various schemes to empower women. For example, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao promotes girls' education, Mudra Yojana supports women entrepreneurs, and NRM helps rural women through self-help groups. Suggestions to improve women empowerment: we should promote education and skill development. Equal pay for equal work must be ensured. We should encourage entrepreneurship and improve workplace safety. Awareness about government schemes should also be increased. My conclusion part is in 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 conclusion, women empowerment is essential for India economic growth. Increasing women's participation will lead to higher productivity, poverty, and inclusive development. Empowering women is not just a social need but an economic necessary. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I have concluded my part.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Nice presentation.
Thank you
Next,
so much, sir.
45, Raghunath Ram. Raghunath Ram. Okay, next serial number 46, Dr. Jyoti. Okay, next serial number 47, Dr. Nirmala. Dr. Nirmala. Okay, next serial number 48, Ranveer Garupal. Ranveer. Okay, next serial number 49, Dr. Rani Pandey. Next, Dr. Naresh Kumar. Next serial number 50, Dr. Naresh Kumar. Okay, next serial number 51, Ajit Kumar. Ajit Kumar. Okay, if any want to presentation, अगर आप में से कोई प्रेजेंटेशन करना चाहते हैं जिनका लिस्ट में नाम हो और अपना प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं दिया है आज का और कल का, तो अपना सीरियल नंबर बता के प्रेजेंटेशन दे सकते हैं.
Yes, sir. 14.
My serial number is 118 and I could not present it yesterday. So can I present now?
Yes, ma'am. Please start. Only 5 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Now, the title of my presentation is From Classrooms, Boardrooms to Boardrooms, the Gender Inclusive Entrepreneurship under the National Education Policy 2020 for a Viksit Bharat. Now, when we talk about Viksit Bharat and all, the introduction that I would like to give is that women entrepreneurship is reshaping India's economic landscape. National Education Policy 2020 provides a transformative framework for the skill development and inclusive growth. Gender inclusive leadership is central to realizing a Viksit Bharat vision and breaking the barriers. How women represent 18% of the startup founders in India. Let me share my experience as the principal of Aditi Mahavidyalaya. There we got the center for the skill development opened, and the girls are really getting benefited from that. The objectives and the key questions are: how does National Education Policy 2020 enable women's entrepreneurial empowerment? What is the characteristic of gender inclusive leadership? How can we bridge the persistent gaps in funding and support? And what role do women entrepreneurs play in shaping the Viksit Bharat? Now, the gender roles, if we compare the traditional and the emerging paradigms, the traditionally women confined to the domestic roles, limited access to the higher education and business networks. They were totally male-dominated leadership structures. And when we talk about women as innovators, post-National Education Policy 2020, the gender diversity is there, collaborative and inclusive leadership styles with 18 to 13% representation in the boardrooms. The status of women entrepreneurs in India 2025, the current statistics are 18% of startup founders are women, 14% of all entrepreneurs nationally, and 22% MSMEs owned by women. Over 75,000 women-led startups have been recognized. And the key trend is that there is a growth in the tech and the service sectors, increasing the presence in the rural entrepreneurship, rising access to government support programs. The National Education Policy, if we give a glance, the entrepreneurial education is the integration of the entrepreneurship across all the education levels. Skill development, when we talk about it, is multidisciplinary and multi-skilled workforce creations. Explicit focus is on women participation and empowerment. The bridge between the academia and the entrepreneurship ecosystem is very important, and their industry plays an important role. NEP 2020 is a catalyst for change, empowering women entrepreneurs for the national progress. The NEP 2020 is empowering the women entrepreneurs, thereby transforming the education and the economic participation. It enhances the gender equity in education and entrepreneurship, fostering a supportive environment for women to thrive as leaders and innovators in the Indian economic landscape. The key pillars of NEP 2020 is access, equity, quality, and affordability. The NEP 2020 provisions for women entrepreneurships are many. There is a mindset development through the curriculum integration, then access to the mentorship and the incubation support at the educational level. At Delhi University, we have the Udmoday Foundation, where the support is given to the startups. The vocational and the skill training is tailored for the women entrepreneurs, and the policy incentives include the grants, subsidized credit, and the tax benefits. The women-led startups have the following characteristics: 24 times more women in the senior roles, focus on the social impact, innovation in the healthcare, education, and the consumer services. The economic impact is including the job creation, rural economic development, with increase in the potential GDP contribution. The gender perspectives in the startup leadership is what women bring. They not only bring the collaborative leadership, it is empathy driven. The decision making is empathy driven. The focus on the sustainable innovation, resilience, and adaptability. Then we have the organizational outcomes. There is a better company structure, higher retention rates, diverse talent attraction, and improved financial and the social performance. We have the ecosystem supporting it. We have Startup India, Swavlambi programs. The academic institutions have incubation hubs and networking events under the National Education Policy 2020 framework. Then increasing the women partners and the female-focused funding is there. Then we have the opportunities and the future pathways, scaling NEP 2020, interventions in the higher education and the vocational training, strengthening the women-specific angel investments, building regional entrepreneurship hubs with gender equity focus, promoting women in emerging sectors like AI, fintech, green technology, and biotechnology. The policy recommendations include strengthening of the NEP 2020 implementation at the school and the college level for the entrepreneurial mindset. Unless the students are exposed, yes, we can do it ourselves rather than searching for the job. The mindset has to be changed. There has to be increased funding education and establishing the gender-sensitive mentorship and the advisory network. We have to create intersectorial Partnerships between the academia, industry, and the government. It is very, very important. We can focus on certain women entrepreneurs pioneering the future. The success stories include the healthcare innovations, the edtech leaders, and the rural entrepreneurship. There are many. Success stories include the tech innovators, sustainable farmers, wellness leader, and the creative artisans. Let me add here. When we talk about any field for that matter, there are males, there are females, and most of the time the contribution of the females was not accounted for. Now, when we have women-led entrepreneurial programs, then I think the women really shine, because the invisible role that was there is now more visible, adding to the women empowerment. And the impact is across all the sectors, be it the technology leader, the agriculture pioneer, the healthcare advocate, the education champion, the finance strategist, and the arts and craft innovators. The gender inclusive leadership for Viksit Bharat is creating opportunities. The gender inclusive leadership fosters for the environment where the women entrepreneurs can thrive and innovate. But prioritizing the diversity, organizations unlock new perspectives that are certainly sometimes not even accounted for, such as the enhanced problem solving and creativity, which was totally minimal when we talked about the earlier times. Empowering women results in a more dynamic workforce. Overcoming the challenges, the women in leadership roles often face societal, institutional barriers. Addressing these obstacles through the mentorship programs and the capacity building, we can do wonders, I'm very sure. The challenges are many for the women entrepreneurs: limited access to the capital, the socio-cultural barriers, the underrepresentation, and the limited access to networks and the mentorship in the male-dominated industries. And overcoming this obstacle is access to funding and societal barriers and the skill development. Skill development is the basic essence to having an entrepreneur in the family, and that to a female entrepreneur. We have the government support. The policy recommendations for women entrepreneurs is government support, the industry collaboration, and the community initiatives. Together, they can do wonders. A path to Viksit Bharat: when the women rise, the nations prosper. These are the words from Michelle Obama. And we can say that National Education Policy 2020's role in empowering women in progress is fostering innovation in the education, promoting sustainability in business, ensuring equity, supporting women entrepreneurs. Empowering women is an essential tool. I would like to conclude that NEP 2020 is more than an education reform. It's a blueprint for empowerment. By fostering gender inclusive leadership and nurturing women entrepreneurs, India moves closer to realizing the capable and innovative nation. The rise of women entrepreneurs under NEP 2020 symbolizes the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat, a self-reliant India powered by the strength and creativity of its women. Women entrepreneurs, empowered by NEP and supported by inclusive ecosystems, are central to India's transformation towards Viksit Bharat. Thank you so much for the attention. I'm open to questions.
Hello, Bridges sir.
Hello.
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 Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Mamta Sarwani, my presentation. If any want to share presentation.
Sir, number 15.
Bridges sir, I want to serial number 14.
40, sir.
Serial number 14, sir.
Okay, Dr. Vinod Kumar Yadav, sir, Assistant Professor of Commerce, University of Andhra Pradesh. Yes, please start, sir. Only 5 minutes. Vinod Kumar, sir.
Sir, sharing, just a minute, sir. Sharing slide.
Hello.
Sir, slide visible, sir.
नो सर, आपका पीपीटी ओपन है लेकिन स्क्रीन आपने स्क्रीन शेयर कर दिया है. प्लीज ओपन. यस.
Now it's visible, sir.
Yes, yes.
So a very good afternoon, especially Brajesh sir and Mary ma'am and all other esteemed member of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad. So now I would like to present just 5 minutes. So within a short time, I would like to complete my presentation. So the topic of my presentation, that is the presence, participation and position of women. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Brajesh,
yes.
sir, audible? Am I audible?
Yes, continue, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. So the topic of presentation, that is the presence, participation and position of women in contemporary investment world, an economic indicator of women empowerment. So just I would like to give you an overview about the introduction of this topic. So the evolving scenario of the contemporary investment world manifests not only the economic transformation, but also change in gender dynamics of the investment world. The 21st century has marked substantial growth in the number of women as investors, professionals, and decision makers. However, the significant disparity exists in terms of presence, participation, and position. Now, the statement of problem. Despite the significant positive progress in the modern financial market, participation of women in the investment market remains disproportionately low. As per the World Bank and Oxfam International Report, women own less than 1/5 of the global wealth with narrow representation in financial decision making. Thus, it highlights the persistent gender gap in access, control, and leadership position in the contemporary investment ecosystem. Now, I would like to just give you an overview about the objectives. So the current research study is focused on analyzing the presence and participation of women in financial market activities, particularly equities, that is the stock market and mutual funds. As far as the research methodology is concerned, this is an exploratory cum empirical research study by nature, and it is qualitative and quantitative research study. It's purely based on the secondary facts and figures derived from the different offline and online sources. Now, as far as the different tools used for the purpose of this study, the simple percentage compounded annual growth rate, graphs, tables have been used to visualize and analyze the data. Now we come to the analysis part of the data. So that is data analysis and discussion regarding presence, participation, and position of women in contemporary investment world. So first we can say the gender-wise total number of demat accounts open in India. So just we can see there is a upward movement in the number of total demat account open, especially the trend line that is showing the growth in women. Now the next gender-wise total number of mutual fund accounts open in India. Here we see the same trend that is continuously uptrend is there. That starts from the 2006, 2007 until date. It's continuously moving upward. Now then gender-wise total investment made under the demat account. So in the first two slides, we have discussed about the presence, means how much women or how much female are participating. But now here we are talking about their quantum, their value. So the gender-wise and total investment made under the demat accounts open in India. So here we observe the same thing. The trend is that is the upward trend. So women's participation or women investment in the stock market that is continuously growing. Then next, that is the gender-wise and total investment made in mutual funds account open in India. So now again we find the same trend here. The total investment made by the female section or women in the mutual fund that is also growing, and the trend line is almost 2006, 2007. That's continuously moving upward, and we observe a very significant high. Now we come to the percentage share of female investor in total demat accounts open in India. So the same thing here, if we see the proportion of men and women. So here in this particular slide, we have shown the percentage participation or percentage share of female investor in total demat account. So here the thing is same, that is we observe the continuous growth or continuous hike in the share of female in demat accounts. Now the same thing we observe in the number of mutual fund accounts opened by the female counterparts or female investor or women investor. Then the percentage share of female investor in total investment made. So how much investment is there and what is the participation of women in the total investment made under the demat account? So we observe the same trend, that is the continuous hike or growth in the market. And next, that is the last visual presentation. So the percentage share of female investor in total investment made under the mutual fund accounts open in India. So here we observe the continuous hike. Now we come to the CAGR. So if we see the number of the CAGR gender-wise and total demat account open in India, so we observe the last last figure, that is 27%, 22%, 24%. So if we compare from the total number and the participation of the male, then we find that is excellently good, and that is very fine picture. And if we see the total participation and the male participation, so the female participation growth rate CAGR is relatively higher. Now the gender of CAGR of gender wise and total mutual fund accounts open in India. So here again we find the same thing, the continuous hike is there. Now then we talk about the CAGR of gender wise total investment made by investor in demat account. So here again we find a very fantastic improvement or very fantastic growth in the female participation, that is 42%, 31% and 28%. That is much better as compared to the total figure and the male participation. Here I would like to clarify one thing. This is the growth, not the total investment. In total investment, male investor dominate the mutual fund and the stock market. Now the last visual presentation, CAGR of gender wise total investment made by investor under the mutual fund accounts open in India. So here again we see the very good growth as compared to the male counterparts and the total overall scenario of the market. Now the result and discussion. A significant growth has been observed in total and gender-wise number of demat accounts and mutual fund accounts opened during the period of analysis. A significant growth has been observed in total and gender-wise investment made under demat accounts and mutual fund accounts opened during the period of analysis. The percentage share of women in total number of demat accounts and the mutual fund account open and total investment made under the demat accounts and mutual fund account in India during the period of analysis remains between 1/10 to 1/3. So currently, the women that is having a very we can say now here the next, the currently women are having around 1/3 share in the total number of demat accounts and mutual fund account open in India. Now the currently women are having 1/4 to 1/3 share in the total investment made under the demat accounts and mutual fund. As far as the CAGR is concerned, so compounded annual growth rate has been observed. Growth in compounded annual growth rate has been observed in total number of demat account and mutual fund accounts opened by female investors during the first 10-year, 15-year and 25 years period of the 21st century as compared to the total and male figures. The growth in compounded annual growth rate has been observed in total investment made under the demat accounts and mutual fund account opened by female investors during first 10 years, 15 years and first 25 years of 21st century as compared to the total and male figures. Now we come to the conclusion. So now here I would like to just say one thing, that I would like to conclude with a very important quote. Teach her means train the lady, train the women, train the female about how money really works and she can change the world. So this statement given by the Linda Davis Taylor, and going through we can understand the masses that is given in between the line. We can understand that how much potential women are having. If they really participate with their full potential, then definitely they could bring a very significant, a very fantastic change in the market. The present participation and position of women in equities and mutual funds are gradually moving upward. That is a positive sign of overall empowerment of women in the 21st century India. The current scenario of women's presence, participation, and position in equity and mutual fund market is worth mentioning when we compare their today's status with 2 decades back position. However, this is not an end, but a beginning that needs systematic effort and policy initiative to encourage the participation of women in the financial market so as to make them socially, economically empowered, to make our financial market inclusive, stable, strong, vibrant, to enable us to materialize the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hello.
Dr. Vinod Kumar, sir. Nice
Serial number 15, Pooja Arwan.
सर 151 अजीत कुमार सर प्रेजेंट करना चाह रहे हैं.
Okay, one by one, sir. Please wait.
सर फर्स्ट पहले मेरा ले लीजिए.
ठीक है,
151
please start.
अजीत. Okay, my topic is women in panchayat raj institutions. Women consist of half the population of our country, so there should be nearly half of women as well in the political sector. That is why you must encourage women as India. India is the largest democracy in the world, and you must act like it. Women are supposed to be given their status in society. In huge NGO and universities plays a massive role in it. This gives women the opportunity to have more control over the management, and other women can benefit from it. As India has a population consisting of 50% women, they have to be competing equally well in the local politics to forward the gender equality agenda. Women in politics can speak up for other problems faced by other fellow women and come up with measures for the betterment of other women. Panchayat, as you know, Panchayat is the backbone of many Indian villages since the beginning. Mahatma Gandhi was always in the support of Panchayat Raj, and his dream came into reality with the 73rd Amendment Act, also known as Panchayati Raj Act. This act provides a total of 1/3 of seats to the women, including the reserved seats for the SC and ST. It also gave 1/3 of the total number of offices of chairperson reserved for the women. The role of women in the panchayats are participation in election, participation in rural development, participation in decision making, agent of social regulation, reducing corruption, reducing violence against women, reduction of violence against Dalits. Difficulties faced by women to represent in PRI are political intervention present in the panchayats. Women are made to act as proxies for men. Husband takes the intervention of the elected woman and operates on her behalf. Women in rural areas lack the awareness of the political rights they possess, all the negative public opinions, lack of education of women in the rural areas, lack of training courses for the women, violence against women to suppress them from acting their rights. So under the 73rd Amendment Act, 1/3 of the seat is reserved for generals, scheduled backward caste women in the village panchayat. People have to be volunteer to accept this reservation made for women and respect the status of women in society, which is no lesser than that of the males. New policies should be made to further our conquest to equality between males and females and participation in activities in mutual understanding. Initiatives that have been taken for active participation of women in Panchayati Raj institutions are: first, steps have been taken to enhance the participation of women in higher numbers. All the elected leaders should have a minimum of literacy to carry out guidelines and to educate the villagers about the PRI Act. Literacy is a very major part to educate women about governance and increasing the higher participation of women in these sectors. To develop women's leadership and communication skills for enhancing traveling, train them to speak up and find means to interface with the local self-governance to claim panchayat entitlements, to educate women on the facilities and programs of the states and central government have done for them. to empower and motivate them to achieve big things by breaking all cultural barriers. Article 243D ensures women participation in Panchayat Raj institution by compulsory one-third reservation of women. As of now, 20 seats in India have made the reservation for women to 50%. The states are आंध्र प्रदेश, असम, बिहार, छत्तीसगढ़, गुजरात, हिमाचल प्रदेश, झारखंड, कर्नाटक, केरला, मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, उड़ीसा, पंजाब, राजस्थान, सिक्किम, तमिलनाडु, तेलंगाना, त्रिपुरा, उत्तराखंड and West Bengal. Finally, I will say conclusion due to lack of time. After the establishment of the Panchayati Raj institution, women have been getting better opportunities and also living up to the responsibilities given to them. This act has been a great opportunity for women to come out and participate in the administration in the field of politics. It gives them a platform to raise their voices and be heard. Thank you, sir.
Sir, 156.
Thank you,
Serial
sir.
number 156, sir.
ये डॉक्टर रविंदर सिंह सर.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Department of Planning and Development, Jammu and Kashmir. Yes, please
Yes,
start.
sir.
Only 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everyone. Today's, as we all know, that we are discussing on women empowerment. I have chosen a topic which is much more in advancement now towards the technologically driven society, and the risk of women disempowerment rather than empowerment is there. That's why I have chosen a challenging topic, which is invisible labor, surrogacy, gender inequality, and economic disempowerment. So this is the topic which is very, through this women are now vulnerable for the disempowerment, and I want to discuss over this issue. Surrogacy has evolved into a complex legal, ethical, and social economic institution, transforming from earlier less regulated practices. India emerged as a major global center for reproductive services in the early 2000s, owing to its affordability, medical expertise, and the participation of economically disadvantaged women who viewed surrogacy as a viable livelihood option. These developments made India a commercial hub for surrogacy until major regulatory changes were introduced. The increasing demand for assisted reproductive technologies also reflects broader demographic patterns. The World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 6 individuals globally experiences infertility. Similarly, and NFHS 5 waste analysis reports a national primarily infertility rate of 18.7 per 1,000 married women, with significantly higher rates in Goa, that is recorded as 49.4, Lakshadweep 47.3, and Chhattisgarh 31.6. These trends indicate that ART and surrogacy have become critical avenues for individuals and couples seeking parenthood. A parallel transformation echoed in India's legal landscape. While surrogacy was legalized in 2002, concerns regarding exploitation, clinic malpractices, and cross border legal complications prompted stricter oversight. Jurisdictions worldwide differ sharply between commercial and altruistic models, complicating citizenship, parent rights, and welfare considerations. India responded by moving from a commercial framework to a altruistic only model through the Surrogacy Regulations Act 2021. Yet scholars argue that legislations remains overly restrictive and insufficiently responsive to women's socioeconomic realities. Before this shift, commercial surrogacy in India constituted a substantial economic sector. By 2012, an estimated 25,000 babies were born annually through surrogacy, nearly half to international intending parents, generating over 400 million US dollars and involving close to 3,000 clinics. The abrupt transition to altruistic surrogacy, therefore, represents not only a legal change but also a significant social economic restructuring. So this is the great challenge for women's empowerment and technologies which we are discussing, or whether they are leading the women towards the empowerment or disempowerment, is a question and a debatable, which is very much debatable nowadays. Surrogate mothers report persistent stigma, particularly in conservative and rural settings where surrogacy is viewed as a morally questionable. The altruistic model's requirement of close relative involvement often deepens family pressure, reducing women's ability to provide informed and voluntary consent. Emotional support services remain scarce, leaving women vulnerable to anxiety, social isolation, and post delivery distress. Socioeconomic data further indicates that most surrogates come from disadvantaged backgrounds, 24% from very poor households, 42% from poor households, and 38% with limited education. Notably, I think 64% remain poor even post surrogacy, 64% remain poor, showing that altruistic surrogacy provides no lasting uplift. Although the Surrogacy Act 2021 introduces safeguards, significant gaps persist. Restrictive eligibility rules, slow clinic registration processes, lack of counseling, and absence of long-term welfare protections undermine implementation. Surrogacy disproportionately impact women already facing structural disadvantages, poverty, low education, and gendered household hierarchies. Women with limited livelihood options are more susceptible to family influence, especially under the altruistic model where financial gain is absent. Rural women face stronger stigma and weaker support network than their urban counterparts. So, in conclusion, I can say that the findings of the recent studies says that India's shift from commercial to altruistic surrogacy has generated complex social legal consequences that intersect economic vulnerability, gender power relations, and institutional shortcomings. Rather than mitigating exploitation, the altruistic model, when implemented without adequate welfare safeguards, has reproduced and in several respects intensifies pre-existing structural inequalities. This pattern aligns with global critique that cautions against prohibition-based models and in context where enforcement mechanisms are weak and patriarchal norms remain deeply embedded. And lastly, the contradiction undermines the policy logic behind the altruistic framework and raises questions about the economic coherence of the regulatory design. So all the advancements I can say in the last, that advancement doesn't signify that women are actually ethically empowered, Technologies, if not used ethically, wisely, and morally, are sometimes leading the women disempowered rather than empowering them. So we can use technologies, the advancements which are coming in our ways in daily lives. This is the morality and ethics of the technologies should be in place before advancing towards the technological advancements. Thank you very much, sir.
So serial number 15, Pooja Alwan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the presentation. Next, Pooja, well, Pooja Alivan.
Yes, sir. Pooja Alwan.
Yes, please start.
Sir, is I am audible?
Yes, madam.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries. I am Pooja Ariwan, Assistant Professor of School of Law, IIT University, presenting a paper on Ambedkar's vision of empowerment and its reflection in legal codes. Women empowerment in India has evolved through constitutional vision, legislative reforms, and judicial interpretations. The architect of this vision was Dr. Ambedkar, who strongly advocated for gender equality, labor dignity, and social justice.
Ambedkar recognized that economic independence is the foundation of women's empowerment, and labor laws are crucial instruments to achieve it. Recently, Indian legislature consolidates 29 labor laws into 4 codes. They are: first, Code on Wages 2019; second, Code on Social Security 2020; third, Industrial Relations Code 2020; and the last, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code 2020. The Ambedkar vision of women empowerment is basically based on 3 concepts. First, the equality and non-discrimination. Second one, the economic empowerment of women. And the third, labor welfare orientation. So equality and non-discrimination is um, conferred it's conferred in our Constitution of India under Article 14 and 15 Clause 3 mainly, which deals with gender equality, and the other, economic empowerment of women. Dr. Ambedkar advocated for equal pay for equal work, maternity benefits, and safe working conditions for women. In labor welfare orientation, as labor member of Advisory Council, the Dr. Ambedkar introduced reduction of working hours and welfare funds and social securities, and based upon these, the equal remuneration and non-discrimination reflects Ambedkar's principle of economic equality under the Code on Wages 2019 that ensures that equal pay regardless of gender and no discrimination in recruitment process. The Social Security for Women aligns with Ambedkar's focus on labor welfare and dignity that covered under the provisions of Code on Social Security 2020 and revolve around the maternity benefits, breach facilities, and the newly one, that is coverage of gig and platform workers, mainly for the women. The next one is inclusion of informal sector, which extends the Ambedkar vision to modern labor realities. Here, the recognition given to gig and unorganized workers, focusing on women, and the social security and schemes for women in informal economic tools. These all are able to provide gender neutrality in wages and the expansion of social security and formal recognition of women's participation, which has somehow fulfilled the vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, but the gaps in implementation of the provisions and lack of awareness among women workers made it critical to be executed in its fullest. The weak enforcement mechanisms and procedures and the limited coverages in informal sector also gave a limited scope for implementation of the vision through provisions. So the labor codes reflect. My conclusion says that the labor codes reflect the vision to a significant extent, but true realization depends on effective implementation, which is very necessary one. And thus, while the legal framework exists, the challenge lies in transforming these rights into lived realities for working women in India. Sir, I have completed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Nice presentation. और कोई presentation करना चाहता है क्या? If anyone to presentation. अगर आप में से जिनका लिस्ट में नाम भी ना हो तो वो भी अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि मेरे पास तो लिस्ट में मैंने सभी का नाम अनाउंस किया है, और उसके अलावा भी और कोई प्रेजेंटेशन करना चाहता है तो वो भी अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दे सकता है। तो हम अपना सेशन को यही समापन की ओर करेंगे। Okay, thank you very much. Professor G. Mary, ma'am.
हाँ sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Please conclude and today end this session. Ma'am. Please conclude all session.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. All the paper presenters presented till now very patiently and efficiently. And I observed all the paper presenters, your PPTs were good and you were fluent in your presentation. And thank you very much for keeping up yourself in the academic pursuit. Paper presentations are always regarded as what your presentation skills and your interest to the what you call fundamental this thing of knowledge. So I say all the best to you all, to all the presenters yesterday and today. I thank Brijesh Sahab for coordinating the program so well and also very patiently addressing all these students is not a simple job, sir. And with your permission, I would like to conclude the two-day international conference on multidisciplinary in women empowerment 2026. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Brijesh sir.
ओके, थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू। अभी आज के जो हमारा 2 दिन का बेस्ट प्रेजेंटेशन है, अभी हम व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में तो दोनों दिन का हम बेस्ट प्रेजेंटेशन का लिस्ट अभी शेयर कर देंगे। आप सभी का धन्यवाद कि आप सभी जुड़े। ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड दिस सेशन।
थैंक यू।